Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? You guys are crazy. There's already like 3 or 4 of you guys in here. Five dudes in here. And Joanne. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a PGA DFS season. 2026, baby. I feel like this is brand new. Like I haven't done this in forever. Hopefully you guys saw the podcast that I put out there with Byron Lindeque. We did a pod Sunday night, and we might start doing podcasts together going forward, like on Sunday nights. So be on the lookout for that. That should be pretty awesome. Oh my gosh. Already having technical issues. This should be displayed, and it's not being displayed. And I think I know why. Let me double check. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to go over some things really quick off the gate. If you're watching this on replay, go ahead, use the timestamps down below, skip ahead. I'm going to talk about some things to look forward to on this channel moving forward. And really just everything to go with SweetSpot DFS throughout this year. So I'm trying to figure out how to get my display capture to work. Okay. I think we figured it out. Okay, hold on. Let me check. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Yeah, CG, we are back. We are back. Bryson, I saw you a couple of underdog drafts. Did you recognize me in there? I thought maybe you were going to watch Byron and my podcast the other day, the stream that we had, and I thought perhaps you were listening and trying to figure out who I was going to be choosing. Anyways, man, there's so many things to talk about. I'm going to show you this really quick. There are a couple things that I was hoping to get to you guys by today. I want this year to be a spreadsheet-free year when it comes to the channel. I want everything to go through the website. If you haven't gone to SweetSpotDFS.com yet, go check it out. I've got a new tool up there that I'm going to showcase pretty soon. But I am going to publish this probably tonight. It is a one-and-done tool. Let me try to zoom in for you guys so you guys can see this a little bit better. It will allow you to do a lot of research for one and done. I know you guys can't really see it that well. It's just how Power BI is. I can't like zoom in too much. But basically you'll be able to select tournaments. I mean, you'll be able to filter down very microscopic. This isn't the OWGR. I know if you read it, this is just the underdog rankings. But if you were to click into Scotty Scheffler's name, and depending on whatever button that you choose here, whatever you want to look at, you want to look at his wins. Just drill down on that and you will see all the wins he has. You can see the official money he's made. If we wanted to just go to total money or even average money, you can see what he averages every single year. And then also, I have a this week button. So it's the golfers that are in the field this week. So if you wanted to look to see who makes the most money at the Sony Open, you could even drill down all the way into the Sony. In fact, I can select the Sony right here and then sort from top to bottom who makes the most money. And it's Russell Henley makes the most money here. Chris Kirk, Nick Taylor, Siwoo Kim. You can see that. Again, I plan to publish this either tonight or tomorrow, which I know doesn't give you a lot of time if you want to use the one and done tool that I have created right here. You know what? I'll get it out tonight. I'm going to get this out tonight because it's pretty, I'm pretty sure it's done. The only thing that I really needed to do with it is I wanted to back test it just to make sure that everything was good to go. Do I not have a button selected here? Let me double check this. Side panel buttons eraser. Show me. We don't. Well, we're about to. We are in the one and done tool and I need it to clear filters. There we go. There. Boop. Okay, so there's this, and I can actually showcase the other tool that I created for you guys. You can still do underdog drafts, and I just updated this with the new ADP that comes from Underdog. So this is a tool that I was showing Sunday night when Byron and I were streaming together. This basically just helps you plan out, you know, which golfers to select. And really, you probably want to be doing this research before your draft, but I have been able to draft with this up next to the best ball drafts that I was doing. So, you know, like Scotty, if you start with Scotty Scheffler, you can see all the events that he's playing. If you're unfamiliar with Underdog, you basically have 4 rounds that you want to get through. So you're going to be, you know, I would suggest go to Underdog and read the rules, but essentially in round 1, you're going to be playing against 6 other people. I think it's the people you draft with. I'm not positive on that. But you want to try to get through round 1 scoring the most points. You got to be like 2 out of 6. So you got to be in the top 2 out of your pod of 6 golfers in order to make it to the next round. And then somewhere in there, it's like 1 out of 6. I can't remember which rounds those are. But anyways, you want to get as many golfers playing in each of these events. So there's 7 events for rounds 1 and 2, and then there's 6 events for rounds 3 and 4. So if you started with Scotty, which I was able to do, thankfully, for one of my drafts, if you start with Scotty, and then it comes back around to you, I went with Sung Jae with one of mine, and you can see how these update. So Sung Jae was one of mine. Let's just put in like JJ Spawn because he's playing the Sony. So it's like these numbers will update. Nothing in this box is going to update with whoever you choose over in this box. This is kind of your player select over here. You can either use this or you can use the drop down. I find that the drop down is easier, especially when the ADP doesn't match what the ADP on Underdog is showing. But yeah, if you wanted to come down here, just like that one and done tool, and you could actually use this as your one and done tool, honestly. So you can go through and see how many starts that golfers have to their projected schedule. Like that's a huge thing to denote here is I'm not showing how many historical starts that Scotty Scheffler has had at the Sony or the Farmers Insurance Open. I think he has 2 starts at the Farmers, but you're not seeing that he has 2 starts there because he's not projected to play there. I chose to remove that data from this tool because it just produces clutter, and I only want you to see the events that he's projected to play, how often he's played it, and if you want to look at the average finishes that he's had at each of these events, you can go into this and look. You can drill down on whatever golfer that you want to look at. So if it's just Xander you want to look at, you can certainly look at Xander. I currently have a filter in here for round 1. I can remove that. And then you can see his full schedule that's ahead of him. You can see how many times he's top 10 in an event and what is the percentage of that. So Xander's about to play the American Express. At least he normally does. I guess there's no full word that he's committed on that tournament yet. But then you can also see he has a 66.67% top 10 rate at the WM Phoenix Open. So you can use this tool to really do your research before your drafts. And then you can use the tool up here to basically kind of plot out which golfers, you want to play. There is a little info bar over here that you can look to see the schedule, like what are the events. So you can see event 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if you drill down in here, you can see, okay, for round 1, event 1 is Sony. Event 2 is the American Express. So you can look at the schedule there. You can plan it out with this. This was a tool that I basically copied Byron, his dog dominator that he has. I basically was like, you know what? I can put this on the website. So that was the whole purpose of me creating this tool is just to put this on the website. And if you want to use this tool, wonderful. This is just for paying members. So you have to be a weekly, monthly, yearly, or a lifetime subscriber. If you didn't know, I have a limited amount of lifetime memberships. I call them founding members. It's basically kind of your pledge to support me in trying to get this to be a big website, you know, like a website that everyone wants to use. And you being a founding member means you get direct access to me in order to update tools. I had one member reach out to me. He wanted to see ownership being included on this tool in particular. He wanted this column right here, this total owned right here. He wanted to add this just to show which, you know, what kind of lineups had what kind of ownership, basically. And I was like, sure. I mean, most of you guys know that I'm not a huge proponent of ownership. Like, it's not that big of a deal to me. But because he's a founding member and because I want to make sure that I'm creating the best tools for you guys, I was like, yep, you get that direct access to me to get these things updated. So that is a perk of being a founding member. You can find all of that on the homepage. If you scroll down, you can see I got payment plans there, or just, you know, subscription plans there. If you were to go into your account, if you did create an account, or if you have already, you can go into your account and change your membership plan that way. So anyways, yeah, the Underdog draft tool is under fantasy tools. Just go down there. I do have a strokes gain calculator there that you can go ahead and check it out. I don't know how well it's going to work for you guys right now, but I use this in a video that I'm going to put out there for you guys. I went over strokes gain stats. I went over how they're calculated, how they're adjusted. I used the calculator that I have on the website. I showed you guys the nuances of it. I haven't published it to YouTube just yet, but I will. But that's another added thing. And this website, I'm going to continue adding things to it. I am trying to get off of spreadsheets. Unfortunately, I have to give you a spreadsheet today because, oh boy, did this season kind of come up fast. I did not know how quick this season was going to happen. I didn't know how long it was going to be to create some of these tools. This took me probably, you know, a total of 8 hours to do this Underdog draft tool, but it was fun to do. And I wanted to create it and just, you know, did that. The videos that I'm going to give you guys, I have 3 videos that will be published to YouTube sometime in the next month. I don't know exactly when. I am learning editing software tools because I want those videos to be a bit more polished than what they look like right now. So there just needs to be some editing that goes on before I publish them. So those will be out there, and by the time those videos get out, I will have more tools on this website. And again, like I said, I'm trying to get out of spreadsheeting. However, this week, unfortunately, I'm going to have to do a spreadsheet. So there is a cheat sheet out there for you guys. If you drill down into cheat sheet, it will bring you to this page. Actually, I have updated the cheat sheet as well. I've got 2 of them. This is what the new one is going to look like, minus what this looks like up here. Like, there's some of this that I'm probably going to stick with up here. But basically, this is what the spreadsheet is going to look like. It's going to look very similar to the cheat sheet that I have on Google Sheets, but it's just not quite the same. And then I'll have buttons up here, but I'm going to use the buttons that are right here. You'll be able to cycle through, you know, strokes gain, 365 days of strokes gain, yearly stats, last 7 weeks, and then last week, but we don't have any last week stats. And then I will have also a recent form and a course history button that you guys can click on, and those will show different stats for you guys. But yeah, this will be updated, but currently what you have is the old school cheat sheet, which is the Sony Open. I have the field loaded in here. I think Kevin Yu still might be here, although he withdrew. Yeah, Kevin Yu. So I'll have to update this later tonight. But if you scroll down, you can get back to the old cheat sheet, which is right here. You come down here and you click this button right there. It will bring you to this page. And this page is what we'll be going over tonight, like I typically have done in the past. We'll go over this big, beautiful spreadsheet yet again. This will go away eventually. I don't know if it'll be next week or the week after. I've got some plans that are coming up ahead of me. But I will grind to try to get some. I'm going to try to grind to get rid of the spreadsheets. But there's one main thing that I just couldn't do, and that was, or two things, the Marquee Tee Times and the model that I typically create. So wasn't able to do that. So we will be using the good old spreadsheet that I have right here, and also the optimizer. You guys all are familiar with the optimizer. The optimizer will probably be the only spreadsheet that I will be using in the near future, because again, well, I shouldn't say again, but I just don't know how to put this onto the website just yet. So it's all things I've got to learn, things I need to do, but we'll be using this to build lineups here a little bit later. And yeah, those are kind of the updates that I have for you guys just right out of the gate. What's going on, everybody? Joanne says, thank God golf is back. Good evening. Good evening, Joanne. Skylar Bro goes over under on total prizes won this year for Joanne. That's awesome. Phil Smart, what's up? Nice to see you. AJ Love, good to see you as well. Bryson, CG1353. John Bizzle, what's going on, man? And Ryan Henson. What is going on, Ryan? All about the model. Yeah, I mean, yes, I was gonna say unfortunately, but that's not the right way to go about this. The optimizer needs the model. If it doesn't have a score, it can't produce results like for the model to work. So, all right, I'm gonna take this off and just remind you guys. I think my giveaways still work. I don't remember. I didn't even look through them, but we'll push this down. Okay. We're still doing this. We're still doing the weekly giveaway, which is $5, $5 cash prize every single week. We're going to do a roll call right now for it. So everybody that's in the chat, if you want an entry into winning $5 next week, as well as an entry into a membership for SweetSpotDFS.com, a monthly membership, just type in golf is back. That's all that I need you to do. Golf is back. In the chat, you will get an entry into the weekly giveaway. And then if I can remember, I will try to do another roll call probably in an hour, in 1 hour time. So we'll see. We'll see. Another giveaway that I am still doing. When this channel reaches 1,000 subscribers, I'm giving away $1,000 worth of giveaways. You need to create, if you want to get an entry into this giveaway, you need to create an account on SweetSpotDFS.com. It can be a free account. I said a free, like account. Anyways, it can be a free account. It does not have to be a paying account. I just need you to go and create an account. And also, if you do win any of the giveaways, any of the monthly membership giveaways, you're going to need an account anyways. So go create one. And then that way you are, you're set. So yeah, once we reach 1,000 subscribers on this channel, so that's the other way you can help me out too. If you're not yet subscribed, subscribe. And then that will just boost the numbers to get closer. And yeah, also, you see the goal that's all the way over there to the left. 864 out of 900 subscribers. If we get to 900 subscribers by the end of the month, I'll put in a t-shirt to go along with the membership. So yeah, it'll be like a $50 value right there. Those are the only giveaways that I currently have. I imagine I will have giveaways in the future, like different ones, especially for the majors and stuff like that, that will require subscriber goals and stuff like that. So if you're not yet subscribed, subscribe. Okay, that's it. That's all that I have. I'm going to go ahead and enter your guys' names into this giveaway. Bill Smart likes the spreadsheets. It's good to know. Good to know. I don't mind the spreadsheets, Phil, but it takes so much time every single week. Whereas all I have to do with the website, because I've already put in all of the I've put in all the work to put together the data in the database. I just don't have to do much. I just have to enter the new field and then everything gets populated. Golf, it's back skis. Tim Tulos, what's going on, man? Okay. I got you guys all in here. Sony roll call number 1. We are not going to be all official with everything. We're going to keep it just like that. Okay. If you're in the chat and you haven't said anything yet, just type in golf is back whenever, and I will add you. And then again, in 1 hour's time, I will try to do another giveaway. I'll try to remember. Usually AJ in the chat, he's good at reminding me that I need to do a roll call. So let's go ahead and get into the golf course and tournament information. Like oh my God, I forgot to even mention that in the beginning of the video. That's how much of a noob I am right now. Little what we're going to cover here: golf course tournament. There is no review of the previous tournament. I think we're just going to wing it. I mean, we'll go over the bucket system. We'll go over the Marquee Tee Times. We'll do all that stuff. Yeah, we'll get into more strategy this year. That's the whole point of, for me, what I want to do is get more into strategy and really get down to the nitty gritty when it comes to building lineups. So anyways, let's see. Does this work? Let's see if this works. It does. Okay. So SweetSpotDFS.com, I have a tool on here called Golf Course Stats. You can find that under the Fantasy Tools dropdown. If you go here, and it should already have the Sony Open, the Waialae Country Club already loaded in there. Here's the thing. If you've been with this channel before, you know that I used to go far in depth when it comes to what to look out for at the golf course, the things that you need to apply. I used to do all the breakdowns that everybody else does until I realized, where's the payoff? I just don't know where the payoff is, talking about everything in depth, like showing you a whole course guide. Like, it's a good visual, but it's also very time consuming, and most of us don't have a lot of time. So this page and this segment is just to go over the filters that you want to apply on the website, or just wherever you look up your data. Wherever you look up your data. That's it. So we start with the yardage, 7,000 yards, par 70. Your architect is Seth Rayner. You can see it's all Bermuda. Greens are kind of large in comparison to the rest of the greens. I think I'll have a tool out there at some point in time that you'll be able to compare like where this is in correlation to other golf courses. It shows that there's water in play in 5 holes, but I think there's really only water in play for 2 holes. I use the GCSAA, their tournament sheet, to tell me how many holes there are that have water in play. So I don't know exactly where they are. They could be right by the tee box. Most likely not going to have any issues with water. But basically what you can use with a lot of this information is a lot of this you can find in the filters off to the side. So I have grass filters. Obviously we're on Bermuda. So if you drill down into Bermuda for the greens, that will get rid of all the tournaments that do not have Bermuda. You can add fairway grass if you want, tee grass, rough grass. If you really want to get in the specific grass strains, like we had Ultra Dwarf, I think I saw on there. So you would go down and find, was it not for the greens? I thought it was. Well, we can go back to the golf course stats. Where are we looking? Tip Dwarf. Okay. I thought it was Ultra Dwarf. Tip Dwarf. So go back here and scroll down to TIFF Dwarf's not there. I'll have to double check why that is. I must have updated it somewhere to not show. Because I just don't even have that option whatsoever. So I got rid of it. Or I upgraded it into something else. I don't know what it... Okay, I'll have to double check. I'll have to see why that is. But if you just use general Bermuda, I believe we should get the Sony, right? If not, then I've got an issue. Yeah, of course. Okay, so the Sony does appear with that filter on. But that's... Okay, so what I'm saying is, you come in here, you need to apply all the filters. This box up here is the field for this week. So really, you can use the date filter down here to try to figure out, you know, how far back do you want to go in history. I like looking at 1 year's worth of data. So if I went 1/1/2025, that'll give me 1 full year of data. And then because I have that filter still on here for Bermuda, it really filters down the rounds of golf for these guys, because it's only when they play Bermuda greens, that's where these stats are coming from. So you can go ahead and look who are the best putters on Bermuda, and you can see Harry Hall by Nick, and then followed by Nico Echeverria, Ben Griffin, Zach Johnson in the 6K range if you want to play an old wily veteran. Denny McCarthy, obviously we know he's good on Bermuda. Johnny Kiefer only has 4 rounds, but those 4 rounds he showed that he's pretty good on the greens. So you can look at it however you want. Again, you want to marry up the stats that you have here with the filters on those other pages. And really, I also have these little things, these little bits of information, shot shapes for both off the tee and approach. Listen, you know, all those course previews that everyone else is doing. They're like, oh, you want to look here on the tee box. It looks like you're going to want to draw the golf ball here. You're going to want to fade the golf ball. Well, instead of going through hole by hole and showing you guys that, you can come here and see hole by hole. What is the preferred, quote unquote, preferred shot shape? Not the necessary shot shape, but a preferred shot shape. Right down here for off the tee as well as approach. And obviously the little summary box that's up here, we can see that doesn't really matter. There aren't that many holes that shot shapes really are required or preferred. It's a pretty straightaway golf course. There are some dog legs, but it does not require a particular shot shape. So really anyone is live. And basically if there were shot shapes that, you know, really carved out these holes that you wanted to play, you can see that on the cheat sheet. So this is the cheat sheet. Has the shot shapes, not for everybody, but for, you know, probably the more important golfers to look at. I haven't gone through any of the new golfers. There's some new golfers from last year that I also haven't been able to update yet because there are other things that have been more important to do. But anyways, you can see shot shapes there. So if that, you know, if that, I'm trying to think of the term. If you're interested in that, go check it out. But yeah, Bermuda is something to look at. The cheat sheet also has Bermuda stats on there. So you can take a look at Bermuda events, the overall Bermuda finish, 365 days worth of average finishing positions. That's what last year Bermuda means. Top 10 rate is just going all the way back to 2013, where my database goes all the way back to. These are the top 10% rates for each of the golfers in the field. If you marry that with the amount of rounds that these golfers have, you can see some of them, it's impressive, and then some of them are like, it's not that big of a deal. Like Chris Kirk, for instance, has 115 rounds, and he's got about a 20% clip of finishing inside the top 10. But obviously the cream of the crop is Russell Henley. He's got a 28% clip of finishing inside the top 10 on Bermuda greens. Or just Bermuda golf courses. Again, you can use SweetSpotDFS.com. You can use whatever tournament you really want to look at. And if I were to sort by, say, Russell Henley, I can drill down on his name, and we can look. I'm going to clear out the date filters. We can look to see like where he's been good on Bermuda, because that filter's still active, but we can just look at Russell Henley and take a look at all of his finishes. You know, what do we see? I also have another tool that is still kind of being developed. It's called round by round stats. But what I like about this tool, I'll let it load. I'll wait for it to load. But yeah, you can, if you sort, yeah, top to bottom, so these are all in order, you can see all of his top 10s and where he got them. If you wanted to see just his Sony Open, you can type in Sony Open and take a look. You know, he's got a second, a 10th, or a fourth, a 10th, 11th, 13th. So he's got 4 top 13s, 2 missed cuts, a 66 in the 32nd. You can look at the strokes gain stats that this would be his averages up here for the Sony Open. Hits it well off the tee, hits it well on approach, and he putts really well at this golf course. He's a very well-rounded golfer. Now, you can do this with any golfer in the field, really. You know, Ben Griffin, he's played here 3 times, a 12th, a 30th, and the 45th place. You can see, you know, approach isn't super great. Around the green isn't super good. I mean, that doesn't really matter that much. But you can see what kind of putter he is. Again, you can go throughout the entire field. You can find this at SweetSpotDFS.com. Again, use the filters that are over here to whatever you like. I mean, there's a ton of filters. You can go by golf course stats, soil conditions if you want to take a look. The state, obviously, we're in Hawaii because I have the Sony Open that's selected. You can use total yardage, stimp meter, green size average. We're on 7,000 square feet of greens, so we can go 6,500 to say 7,500, and that's really going to filter down and filter out, you know, courses that aren't very similar. And now we can see this kind of changes. Nick Dunlap is now at the top of the leaderboard for putting. That is not for, like, that off the tee looks really bad. But you could go strokes gained total. You can see Matthew Pavon for 4 rounds. And if you drill down on Matthew Pavon, you can see where, we're at the Sony. Never mind. I'm sorry. If I get out of there. So again, that was the Sony, just so you guys know. If we're looking at everything now, you know, we got a couple golfers here with 4 rounds, Jordan L. Smith, Johnny Kiefer, but then there's Tony Finau. So there's fun ways that you can manipulate this data to try to like filter out and try to find some golfers that speak to you. You know, what golfers are you comfortable playing? Tony Finau to me is an interesting speculative play to play this week. We have no idea what the heck that Tony Finau's been up to. Whatever happened last year, if you guys are unaware, last year apparently Tony Finau was in trouble with the law. For whatever reason. I don't know what it is. It was either, or maybe not so much trouble with the law, but he was either getting sued for something. It was something court related. I know nothing about it. And me saying this is just probably, you know, spreading false rumors and stuff like that. But anything that I've ever heard online about Tony Finau and why he struggled last year had something to do with, you know, being sued for something. I have no idea, but I'm very interested to see, has he shook that off? He's in a place that makes him happy, Hawaii. I think that's where he's originally from. I know he lives in Utah now, but $7,100 and the filters that we just applied, 60 rounds of golf, he's pretty darn good. So anyways, that is how you would use the golf course stats tool, is just find filters. That's basically all you're looking for. Whatever stats that you see here, you can apply on most of the tools that I have on the website. And of course, if you're using the cheat sheet, obviously I've got the Bermuda grass here. You can see the shot shapes that are there. You can do all that stuff, and whatever else that you want to look at, you certainly can. It's just not going to be as granular in detail as the website's going to be. Now, the tournament, I think on here, it's going to show 417 for the strength of rating, but that's not true. The strength of field rating, that's not true. It's 374. And that was something I was going to make an update with on the website. I have not updated the OWGR or the FedEx for the spreadsheets. This will be pre-RSM Classic. So just note that. This is pre-RSM Classic. This is pre-end of the FedEx Cup, because the strength of field rating includes the FedEx Cup rankings. And what would be absolutely true about the strength of field is if I would have updated the FedEx Cup with the results from last year. And I mean, like, you know, after the Tour Championship, that's where we could find out the FedEx Cup rankings, and that's where we could have updated all that. But for that fall season, I didn't want to make those updates just yet. And I didn't think I was going to have to spreadsheet tonight, so I didn't make the updates on the spreadsheets. These aren't going to be that far off. It's 417 versus 374. Like 374 is what I have currently. But yeah, so it's like a, you know, 40 point difference. If we were to look at previous strength of fields, here, let me see if I have this. I'm going to use this. This is another tool I'm working on, tournament information. I am going to grab this and I will paste it over here. Don't sync. And I will pull up the Sony, which is already in there. Perfect. And do I have strength of field? I do, right here. So last year, the strength of field was 373. The year before that was 390. So we're right on par for strength of field. Years before that, 258 in 2023, 282 in 2022, 341. And then, I mean, you can see cut score, -3, -2, -2, -5 in 2022, the one that Hideki won at 23 under. So if scoring is easy, we can see cuts being somewhere between -4 to -5. Winning score being somewhere up over 20 under. But if the wind is blowing, it's going to be mid-teens to high teens. So 15 under to 18 under. And it looks like there's going to be some wind, like Thursday or Friday. I can't remember what. I know there's supposed to be rain Wednesday. Tomorrow, I should say. So anyways. Yeah, this will be a nice tool to have to add to this course and tournament information segment. But these are your Sony Opens. The strength of field is on the screen. Cut score, winning score. We do have 120 golfers in the field this year, whereas in the past it's been 144. 144, but we have 120 this year. And I don't know if that has to do with a lot of the PGA changes that have happened. But we have less golfers in the field, which means you guys should be able to put together more 6-6 lineups. You should be able to put more 6-6 lineups together. So it should be easier. DFS should be a little bit easier. But anywho's, that is going to be my course and tournament information preview, basically. Do we have any questions in the chat? And by the way, I will always pause before I move on to the next segment to answer anybody that has anything in the chat. If you guys want to provide anything. Skylar goes, golf in January is always odd to me. It is different because there are so many different things to take into account. Like, we won't be able to go over last week's stats. We won't be able to use recent form stats because we haven't had an event, like a full field event, since the RSM Classic, which was before Thanksgiving. So like second week of November. It's been nearly 2 months, like a full 2 months before or since the last time that we've seen golf. There was the Hero World Challenge that had like 20 golfers in it, 19, something like that. I think it was 20. It's not a real event. Nathan, good evening to you. Happy 2026. All right, I'm going to move on. I'll let you guys ask any questions in the chat, and then I'll get to them after the next segment. But we're going to get into the Pass Optimal and GPP winning lineups segment. Okay, so I'm going to showcase two tools during this segment. One is called the Historic Salary Builds, and the other one is the Pass Optimal and GPP winning lineups tool. So basically what I like to do is take a lot of the filters that we just found out. Like again, every tool will have nearly the same filters that you can use. So if you wanted to filter down by grass stats, you certainly can when it comes to this tool. The first thing that I really want to look at, we can go ahead. I want to change the strength of field. I use the old way of doing strength of field because that's how I calculate strength of field now. And I want to do less than 430, but greater than 270. So that should get me a decent look at similar type of events. We can also even go down a little bit more. Field size, let's go 132 and one. How about this? Let's just go 100. There's not, I don't think there are many 100 field sizes, but we'll do this. And this will narrow it down even more, even more. In fact, what do we have? We have 26 total lineups that match this criteria. And we can use like the little summary boxes here for 10K lineups. 73% of lineups have had a 10K golfer in it. That's these little percentages here basically read as this. Whatever this number is, you would say it 73% of all lineups have at least one 10K golfer in it. That's what these percentages indicate. 7K golfers are the highest represented group. And I mean, I looked at a lot of stuff kind of before the start of this video. And yeah, the 7K golfers reign supreme. Last year, Nick Taylor won and he was $7,100. Let me take a look. Let me show you what that looks like. So Sony Open 2025, Nick Taylor right here, $7,100. Second place was Nico Echeverria at $7,300. Then JJ Spawn at $72. Steven Yeager at $74. Eric Cole at $75. All 5 golfers inside the top 5 were 7K golfers. So if you're looking to build lineups this week, and I don't get me wrong, it all changes, right? Every year the fields are different. Every year the golfers with salaries are different. However, salaries are they are a power ranking. Those salaries have a ton of stats that are baked into them. So like course history is in there, strength of fields in there, or not strength of field, stroke gain stats are in there. A lot of things go in there. Odds, your implied odds are also baked into those salaries. So it is worth looking at salaries to see how well those have done in the past. So again, 7K golfers, 96% of all lineups for the Sony, well, for similar events, not for the Sony, for similar events, have found their way into one of these lineups, whether it's a GPP winner. I mean, we can go through each of these. 100% of GPP winning lineups with this criteria that I put on there have had a 7K golfer. Optimal lineups, 90%, and then the SweetSpot Optimal, 100%. So SweetSpot Optimal is always a lineup that uses $49,600 of the salary if it can. And it's the best lineup. It's the best lineup that uses that salary. And usually the other rule that I have with it is it has to take down a GPP. So that's the only way that I'll make it a SweetSpot Optimal. So I'm going to clear those filters and we can just take a look at the Sony Open just to double check what the Sony provides. A lot of the same. So I got rid of those other filters that I had, and I don't know if I need to show you guys that those filters are no longer active. That's what the little eraser button does right here. And we get a little bit of the same, except for 10K golfers aren't as represented. If we go down in GPP winning lineups, you can see 62% of all GPP winning lineups have a 10K golfer in it for the Sony Open. The optimal lineup is the same, basically the same number. SweetSpot Optimal has just a little bit more, or like one more. So that's 75% of SweetSpot Optimals have a 10K golfer in it. But if you look at the 9Ks, that's the other thing I forgot to mention. The 9Ks really aren't getting represented either, which should tell you that if you build a conservative lineup, or a balanced lineup, I should say, that starts in the 8K range and, you know, covers some 7K golfers, you probably are going to find more success at this event than if you do the 10-9-8-7-7-6 or the stars and scrubs method or anything like that. So keep that in mind. I know I've heard a couple of content creators say that the 8K range is dead. That might just be a perfect opportunity to play 8K golfers, because that, I'm not saying the 8K golfers are that much that much more represented in any of these lineups. The 7Ks obviously are, but I wouldn't be too afraid to play the 8K golfers. 62%, better than the 9K range. Maybe not for GPPs, but it's pretty even, I suppose. So if you want to do some more digging into this, you certainly can. Again, SweetSpotDFS.com. If you want to drill down and look at the GPP winners, if we look at total ownership, it's no more than 85% of, you know, total ownership. So that's, if you are those that look at projected ownership, you probably want to keep your lineups under 85% total owned. So if that's something you guys are looking forward, that like that's how you build your lineups, here's further proof that that's what you want to do. Same with the SweetSpot Optimal right here, 75%. So that might be something I look into in the future. We shall see. I'm not positive on that, but yeah, we shall see. Other filters that you can apply. I have this. If you drill down on the bullseye, this will bring up fantasy stats. And this box down here that says historic lineup filters, this is solely used for this tool that I have on the screen. You can use any of this, like highest price golfer. Like we don't have anybody higher price than 10,300, I think. So if I put 10,500 in there, this is for any of these lineups that I've recorded. GPP Optimal, SweetSpot Optimal. So maybe that's where you start with your filters. Just put in the highest price golfer that can be in your lineup. And this week, you know, with Russell Henley being what, 10,300, I think it was. Yeah, just put this filter in there, 10,500. And then if there is a price tag that, you know, you won't go underneath for your highest price golfer, like mine, I don't think I'll ever build a conservative lineup or a balanced lineup, but I could go 9,000 to 10,500, and it's going to show me all of the lineups where the max salary is 9,000 to 10,500. It's not a perfect way to go about this week's field, but it's a way. And then you can see the most common lineup builds with those filters in. 10-9-8-7-7-6, 10-9-8-7-7-7, 9-9-8-7-7-7, 9-9-8-8-7-6, so on and so forth. You can see the rest of it right here. So that is a way to look at it. Now, if I think in the future, here's what I'm going to do. In the future, a lot of these videos, or this, what I'm providing you right now, I will basically cut up. Like, I don't plan on talking about the course and tournament information when it comes to these strategy videos anymore. I really just want to look at pass optimal lineups, or pass optimal and GPP winning lineups. I want to get into Marquee Tee Times. I want to get into the bucket system, and I really want to drill down on the golfers that I think we should be playing based off of what we find out in each of those, which means I want to spend more time with this tool. I really like this tool because if we just look at the Sony Open and we go back previous years, so if I drill into the Sony and we look at last year's Sony, and I'm not going to put any filters, any other filters. I could put whatever lineup that I want to look at, but I could keep it right here. And here's the beautiful thing about what I've added to this tool. You know me, I always say 10-9-8-7-7-6. So if I drill into the GPP winning lineup, I can look to see how many points are scored. So not only do you see it right here, right underneath my cursor, 655, you can see the salary that the GPP winner used, but like above my head, you see like the little red font. I can't drill down on this, but it says total salary, total points, total own. So you can see 655.5 points is there as well. So that is the lineup that I'm going to try to beat, the points I'm going to try to beat. And I'm going to try to construct a lineup based off of the data that's here. So if I were to tell you from last year, you want a 10K golfer, so we're going to drill down on Hideki Matsuyama. And now for the rest of this tool, I have to use the left control. So I'm going to put, my finger on that, left control, and drill down on other golfers. So Keegan Bradley is 9K. So I go from 11,000 to 95. You remember how I usually say you can make up to 2 substitutions? How about this? Let's skip the 8K range and let's see if we can just build. What will this give us? Again, we can keep track of the salary that's up here, how many points are being scored, and the total ownership. So I'm at 42,300, which means I can use up to $7,700. Well, there's Eric Cole right there. If I went with a 10-9 start, and let's throw this out there, right? I always say start with a 10-9-8 7-7-6. That is my jingle. That's my jam. But you can make up to 2 substitutions, which means I can take any of those salaries, 10, and I can sub it down to a 9. Or I could take that 9, sub it down to an 8. I could take the 6 and sub it up to a 7. So how this lineup would work following that type of logic would be, I did start with a 10K golfer with Hideki. I did start with Keegan Bradley, a 9K golfer. So that's $9,500. So the next salaries, I can try to sub an 8K down to a 7, or maybe I can go an 8K back up to another 9. Depending on what I want to do. So with an 8K golfer, I can go up or down. That'd be one substitution. But how this lineup works is it went from that 8K golfer down to a 7K golfer, and then it took that 6K golfer and brought it up to a 7K golfer. So that's 2 substitutions. And now I have myself a 10-9, 4 7s that scores 650 points. It would have obliterated the GPP winner. What did it have? Is it 555 is what I'm trying to beat? I already forgot. Oh, I was wrong. Nope, I was wrong. That would not have obliterated it. I would have been 5 points short. 5 points short. Wow. Okay. Totally wrong. So, again, I guess what I could do is try to find some replacements. 9,900 Russell Henley with $9,500 Keegan Bradley. So here I'm making that substitution. I could probably do Harry Hall, so I'll go 998. So I'm only making 1 sub, and then can I do this lineup? It doesn't spend enough salary for me. I'm not really happy with that. Eric Cole almost does. Still not happy with that. I want to spend more of the salary. And look for other high-priced golfers. No, not going to do it. That's crazy. That GPP winning lineup must have been just immaculate. Like this lineup does beat that GPP winning lineup, but maybe that was the best lineup that used $50,000 of the salary. It had to have been. It did have Hideki. It did have Russell Henley. And add 1, 2, and then Eric Cole, which was who I was selecting. That's probably the best lineup that you can build. And it is a 10-9 with 4 7s. Wow. Does the Sweet Spot Optimal beat that lineup? It does. And that went, oh, I guess I just couldn't see it. Maybe you guys were yelling at me like, hey, we see a path. You just have to put in JJ Spawn. Why didn't I see that? Anyways, the whole purpose is you can go through each of these years Look at the GPP winning lineup. You can see the total ownership that lineup had, the total points, and the salary. And like one of the things I enjoy doing with this tool is, you know, people talk a lot about ownership. You can't have a bunch of high owned golfers. And a lot of times I'm like, okay, well, let's see if I can do it. So let me put together the highest owned golfers in a lineup and just see if I can get away with it and take down a GPP. Can't do Harris English. That's too low. I don't think I can. Keegan Bradley, maybe? I can't put Grayson Murray in that lineup because, I mean, nobody played him. He was owned in 0.07% of lineups. I was never going to get to Grayson Murray either. $7,100 I can use. I guess no. We got to go Grillo into Nick Taylor. Was that the GPP winning lineup? I think that was a GPP winning lineup. That's the same amount of ownership. There's Brian Harmon down here. I don't even know if I can build a lineup with Brian Harmon in it. $6,300. Well, that if I put Grayson in this lineup, it would take down the GPP, but then the ownership is just barely over. It's by 0.8% over whatever, so it's just not possible. What was the most owned? This is the other thing that I like to look at too. It's like, can you even put together a lineup that even goes over 100% ownership? Because you know how people are like 100% is you know, danger zone. Do not do that. I think you would need Adam Svensson in that lineup. You probably, I mean, that's, I'm already seeing the math not working out, ladies and gentlemen. It just, I got to find someone cheaper. Let's put together these 7K golfers. And then what can I do? Can I go 9.9? This gives me $7,600 left. That's not great. What if I got rid of him and put in Post in? Now I have 8,400 I can work with. Still not great. Okay, Brendan Todd. Right, there we are. Over 100%. And yeah, we missed the cut. I mean, we have one guy that missed the cut, and everyone else kind of finished meh. So yeah, there we go. What's going on, Chad? Nice to see you, man. Can you set a max ownership of 85% on the optimizer if you have your own projections? Ooh, there is a way to do that. There is a way that we could set that up to do that. Back for another year of fun. Yes, sir. AJ Love, do we have stats on how players play when they've been off for a while? I assume they are practicing, but who knows? Here's what I would say. The underdog draft tool is where I would go. And I would select round 1. So you're only looking at, and I would go to average finishes, actually. Average finishes, round 1. And I only want to see golfers that are playing in the Sony. That's a bummer. If I had that one and done tool ready, you'd be able to do this. Hold on. Let's bring it over here. It's not done, or I don't have this published to the website, but we can do the exact same thing. We just got to drill into the tournament. So this is by the order of this year's tournament. So Sony Open, I want to include, let's go Sony. Let's include the Century. Let's include the American Express. Farmers. What other tournaments do we want to look at? Oh my God, I'm not selecting multiples. This is only allowing me to select one at a time. Hold on, wait a minute. I can fix that. Oh, I don't want to do multi-select with control. Stupid. I just Wasted a little bit of your guys' time, but that's all right. I figured it out. I saw it a little late. We can go ahead and put in all of these tournaments that start the year. And I'll tell you what I'm doing, what I'm thinking. So we got that. We want the Phoenix Open, right? I think those are all in order. Right. Sony American Farmers, WM, and Pebble Beach. We'll put Pebble in there. Actually, no. I'm going to keep it to these 5. These 5 events right here. And I'm going to use the average finishes. Oh, and I want to use this week. So here's what you'll be able to have once I publish it. So all of these selections that I just had in there stay in there. So you only see them right here. What's currently loaded for this one and done is this week. So if I sort from top to bottom, you will see the golfers that come out with the hottest starts. And so right away in this field, Colin Morikawa gets out to the hottest starts, and it's just comparing against this field. That's it. It's not comparing against everybody. It's just this field. So Morikawa is at 21.15. That's his average finishing position because he normally starts off the Century. The Century isn't in order because it's not on the schedule right now. So I just pushed it to the back. Whereas I have the Sony Open up front, and then it's in order. So these 4 tournaments are what the golfers will be going into pretty soon, but I included the Century just to include the Century. I could remove it if you guys want me to, but I really am more interested to see who starts out hot. So we have Morikawa, Adam Scott, Hideki Matsuyama. Obviously, he's won the Sony Open before. Simpson, Nick Dunlap. That's, hey, look at this. 10th place finish, 17th place. Like, he has a win, and then he has, what, a 35th place finish or 34th place finish. Century, not super great. I think he's probably only played it once, and that's dead last, basically. Yeah, Gerard, Thigala, Griffin, Tony Finau. We talked about him a little bit. Now we're kind of getting down into these, whatever. If I remove the Century, I think maybe that's probably the best thing to do is remove the Century. So if we remove the Century, we get a little bit different results. Nick Dunlap, Adam Scott, Matsuyama, Webb Simpson, Gerard, and then Colin gets dropped a little bit. Griffin, Thigala, Pavon. Still kind of the same culprits, even with the Century gone. So I'm sorry I don't have this tool out there for you guys, but I literally just finished it today. Literally just finished it today. I will get it out on the website tonight. I will put this out on the website tonight. You'll be able to use it just how I showed you. Good question. Good question. Okay. So just looking at pass optimal and GPP winning lineups. Is there really anything else to talk about? I mean, I'm just showing you guys how you can use this tool. We kind of already just went through the historic salary builds, and I really just wanted to see. You know what? This is a great. You could. If you use this tool, again, the ownership is included. You can look at individual ownerships. So I guess if we look in 2025, your highest owned golfers finished 16th, 10th, which is good enough. 10th was in the GPP winning lineup as well as the SweetSpot optimal. So too was Matsuyama. So the 2 highest owned golfers last year were in the GPP and the SweetSpot optimal. But then you had Corey Connors missing the cut. Penrith finished 45th. Luke Clanton, which everybody was probably hyped over because he was a young up-and-coming guy that really didn't. I don't even think he had course history at Wiley. So I don't know why people were choosing him last year, but he was being selected quite a bit. McNeely, Tom Kim, who fell off the face of the planet. I have no idea what happened to him. And then you had Keegan Bradley. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, there's Straka 10. Out of your top 10 guys, you had 2 that finished inside, 2 that were in the GPP winning lineup. and you had 3 missed cuts. Keegan was close to being in the GPP winning lineup. He just didn't score enough points. I mean, that must have meant he didn't really have many bogeys. All rounds under 70. Yeah, that pretty much tells me he didn't make many birdies, but he also didn't make many bogeys. So, yeah, you can use this tool. So that was your highest owned in 2025. In 2024, Harman was in the sweet spot optimal. He was the highest owned golfer. He was in a lineup that would have taken down a GPP. And it was Kirk, and then it was JT Poston, who was in the GPP winning lineup. Then Svensson, and then Benny Ann, who was in all 3 lineups, the optimal, the GPP, and the sweet spot. Russell Henley was also in the optimal, the GPP, and the sweet spot. So that's 6 golfers I just went over. 3 of them were in lineups that mattered. So you're at a 50% hit rate with your highest owned golfers. And again, I could go through each of these. Now, here's a year where it didn't work out. Tom Kim in 2023 missed the cut at 28%. Sung Jae missed the cut at 26%. That, wow, tanked lineups considerably. Corey Connors, 20%, not in any of those lineups. So now you get a year where I mean, good God. If you just take a look over here in the DK optimal, the GPP winner, and the sweet spot optimal, these columns right here, it goes down to Andrew Putnam. And what is he? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He's the 12th highest owned golfer in the field. And that's where you get to your first optimal lineup golfer. Brian Harman was in the sweet spot optimal. He finished 32nd place. I imagine I had to include him because that lineup must have been terrible in 20, or the results must have been terrible for the high price guys in 2023. I'm not going to go through each of these years, but here was one of those years that it worked out. 2 guys, 2 of the highest owned golfers, Corey Connors and Russell Henley, they were in the GPP winning lineup. Is Henley kind of the, no, I was gonna say, is Henley like he is this, anytime Henley is high owned, it looks like, that's when he plays well. Now, it isn't because he's high owned that he plays well. He doesn't know how much he's owned, but when everybody seems to understand he's the best golfer in the field, he plays as if he's the best golfer in the field. So just throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there. All right, that was cool. That was a fun way to use the Pass Optimal and GPP Winner tool to see, you know, for ownership, what to expect. Hopefully you guys got something out of that. Anybody have any questions? Anything? I'm going to take a swig of some pop, as we say here in Minnesota. And if I don't have anything, I'll just move on. All right, we're moving on. Moving on to the bucket system. All right, I revamped this tool. I revamped it. I've changed how it looks. Primarily because I wanted to see more data on the screen. I wanted to be able to present this to you guys a little bit easier, a little bit less eye strain. Now, the bucket system on this website does not have projections in there just yet. I'm working that out. I will have that definitely before the Masters. I'm hoping before the first signature event. I see that I need to fix this up here. It is not registering what the field or the tournament name is. Okay. Well, anyways, you have to load in a tournament up here. We have the Sony Open loaded, and you can see the results of the Sony Open. This is the beautiful thing about the bucket system, especially on the website. We can drill into any of these boxes, any of them. And if we scroll down, the tools that are below it will give us all of the information we're looking for. So we can take a look at results with lead-in bucket stats. So because I drilled down into this last year one bucket, and it doesn't really matter where I'm drilling down, but because I'm drilling down into this bucket, the data underneath it will all get updated. So all get updated, and now all we see are golfers from that bucket finishing inside the top 10. Because I selected a cell where it says top 10 stats. If I want a top 5 stats and I drill down into here and come down here, interesting. I thought it would update to only show top 5s. Maybe maybe it's just the bucket. Okay, that's what I was saying. Doesn't matter where you drill down. What you're going to see is when you get down here, you are only looking at golfers who finished inside the top 10 that were from the last year one bucket. Now, there are different ways to look at this. You can either look at the raw stats, and that's the little button that we have over here to the left. The raw stats show you the exact numbers that go into the buckets, that go into the data that make up the buckets. If you just want to look at the bucket IDs, you can see everybody that's being shown comes from the last year one bucket. If you're like, what does that mean? You just drill down the raw stats and you can see what their finishing place was from the year before. And most of you guys know how the bucket system works. Bucket 1 are golfers who finished inside this 1 to 20 range from last year, from the year before. So again, if I come down here, we can see every golfer that represented that bucket that finished inside the top 10. And again, what we saw was there's 100% frequency. That means it happens at least once every single year. There's a 91% frequency that there was at least one golfer. And how my frequency looks at is it spans all the years that this tournament has played. And whenever I can capture a last year stat, so my data goes back to 2013. In 2013, I wasn't capturing 2012 stats. So the last year bucket started in 2014 because I was capturing 2013 stats. So it starts in 2014 and it goes all the way to 2025. And all of those years, 91% of those years had at least one golfer that was from the last year one bucket. So it basically just tells you that this bucket is very important to pick golfers from. And again, it's golfers who topped 20 last year. And this is, again, the beauty of this is you can see who the golfers are. Now, if you want a more zoomed out level than who the golfers are, and you just want to look at, okay, well, let's see what it looks like from year to year. This gives us a breakdown of how many golfers were represented inside the top 10 from that bucket. So in 2025, we had 5 golfers. 2024, we had 3. 2 in 2023. 3, 2, 1. Only one time in 2020 was there only one golfer from that bucket inside the top 10. It looks like on average, I mean, a pretty healthy numbers 2. We've had as many as 8. And we've gotten up to 5 a couple times. So somewhere between 2 to 4. 2 to 4 is where we can be pretty happy with when it comes to golfers from this bucket. And again, if you want to do a little bit more research, you can see who the golfers are in each of these years right here, what their price tag was, their salary. If you wanted to drill down into this even more, you can look at the filters over here on the other side. So how about this? I want to see how many $10,000 golfers from this bucket represented that. And in 2022, 2021, 2018, we had 10K golfers. It was Hideki, it was Webb, it was Brian Harmon. So it's like, okay, there's only 3 from the 10K range. When, you know, my totals, if I go back up here, you can see the total, it's 41. I guess you don't even have to go up there. You can come back down here and you can see that the total is 41. So 41 total golfers from that last year one bucket have found their way inside the top 10. So with that being said, what we can do is, if I had the new cheat sheet up there for you, which I don't think I'm going to have for this week. So I guess we can ignore the new cheat sheet. You can go to the old one and you can see all the golfers that are last year ones. And you can go apply a filter on this, clear everything out of this last year one column and just select the ones. So here are your golfers for this year that represent that bucket. So we have one 10K golfer, a ton of 9K golfers, and then a ton of 7K golfers. If we went back to that tool, again, the bucket system, we could do something else. We can take a look at just 10K golfers, and we can see which ones. There haven't been a lot. Oh, I have to change the finishing position. I'm just looking at top 10s. Okay. I open this up to everybody. Okay, so now we have more with some blanks in there. Don't worry about the blanks. Those aren't being represented in those numbers, by the way. They're just, for whatever reason, in this table, it's showing up for some reason. So what we could do, I mean, first of all, we can just sort from top to bottom. Like, we do have some 10K success. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 total golfers from the 10K range. It doesn't look like it's 100% like every year there's at least one 10K golfer inside the top 10. We can kind of look to see what their finishes were from the year before. It ranges 19th, 57th, 47th, 20th, 21st, 38th. 51st, like, it's all right. You know what, though? Each one of these 10K golfers that did have success at the Sony played the week before at the Century. The caveat here is Webb Simpson, which that's fine. I mean, this is one of Webb's staple courses that he usually plays well at. But everyone else finished top 20 the week before, which isn't difficult to do most of the time at the Century because for the longest time, there's only 30 golfers in that field. Yeah, this is super interesting. Super interesting. This doesn't really, well, I mean, there's so many golfers that played the week before from the 10K range. They had decent results. I mean, there's some guys that missed the cut, like Justin Thomas in 2020, who won the Century, ended up going and missing the cut at the Sony. So you can see all the cuts down here too. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm skipping these blanks. They don't count. So we have just as many top 10s as we have missed cuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We actually have one more missed cut than we have top 10s, which does not bode well for the 10K range. It's almost one of those like, hey, pump the brakes. I mean, 62%. This also goes back to what we saw with the historical or the historic salary builds, right? We went back here and we put in the Sony Open. What other filters do I have? Let's go back. Hold on. Drilling the Sony Open. This shows 66.67%. Oh, because these are little lineups. You don't need a 10K golfer. That's right, because Hideki Matsuyama was in a GPP winning lineup and he was in 11th place. So that kind of defeats the purpose of what I'm trying to show you. Those numbers are the same. They're correct. Like we did drill into these and look to see the 62%. So I went over the 10K range because that's where Russell Henley is. If I go back to the cheat sheet that I had the filters on, Russell Henley is a last year one in the 10K range. Remember what I just showed you? We saw a lot of 9. Hold on, never mind. This is where I showed you a lot of the 9s and a lot of the 7s. If we go back here, By the way, the 9K range also is not very well represented. We go back into last year one. We can actually choose the salary buckets, or we can choose other buckets that are here, or we can go by salary range. So I actually do want to see what 9,000 to 9,900 looks like. And we're getting kind of the same results as the 10K range. There's just as many top 10s as there are missed cuts. Actually, again, one more missed cut than there is top 10s. 8K range, yeah, this is also pretty bad. $8K range does not show up inside the top 10 very well at all. We have more missed cuts than we have. So, oh my God, is the 7K range just that much more supreme? Oh yeah, look at how many top 10s there are from the 7K range. But then look at all the missed cuts. And this is the thing, you can drill down and look at every one of these golfers and just see, are these golfers that we even have to worry about? Billy Hurley in 2018? Was he even that good in 2018? Probably not. So you guys can actually do your own research. If I did research right now with you guys, it would take forever to get through. I'm just giving you guys ways to look at these tools to try to determine what you want to do with your lineups. But let's just go over the buckets really quick. Last year one, 100% frequency. Success rate is 17.45%. I feel like that was changed. Nope, it was not. Okay. Your last year two bucket, 66% frequency. 12, I mean, we can drill down. What do we see? Last year there were zero. There was zero in 2017, 2016, and 2015, but mostly there's always been at least one. So that's good to know. If you went to the cheat sheet and we looked at last year twos, because that's what we were just on. Here are your golfers here. Pick 1 to 2 golfers from this bucket and feel pretty confident about it. Bucket 3, it's now we kind of get into it's not super great. 53%, 5.71% success rate. Again, the success rate, by the way, these success percentages are looking at all golfers that came from these buckets for these for each year. All the golfers from those buckets. What was the success rate of them finishing inside the top 10? That's how this reads out. So you can look. Oh yeah, by the way, if you want to see the total number, you can actually come down here and deselect so there's nothing red, and you will get the total counts for each of these buckets. So that bucket we were just looking at, so what was it? Last year 3, 5.71%. So if we come back down to last year 3s, we can see there were 140 total golfers. So 5% of 140 golfers have finished inside the top 10 from that bucket. So last year 3s, not super successful. Last year 4s, not super successful. Last year 5s and last year 6s. Last year 6s, by the way, are golfers who've never, or that did not play the year before. This doesn't mean they've never played. It just means they didn't play last year. So this actually is the highest. I mean, it doesn't have the highest success rate. I imagine it's because there's a lot of golfers that go into this bucket, but it's 100% frequency rate. So again, we can look at the totals down here. If we just look at last year's 6s, 725 golfers have represented this bucket. And every single year we see somewhere between basically 50 to 60. Or I should say 60 to 70, 55 to 70. I think that's probably the correct number. One year we had 39, but everything else is 55 or greater. And quite frankly, I don't know how many golfers are in that bucket this year. I can use the spreadsheet here. Again, this will be on the website eventually. But if we look at last year's sixes, this year we're going to have 70, just 70. Oh, wait, that's actually more. My bad. That's more than the average. Yeah, 59.42 is the average. We're going to have 70 golfers from that bucket playing at the event this week. So we can anticipate we're going to see more golfers from that bucket finish inside the top 10. And again, what you would do is you'd go to the cheat sheet and you'd go down to last year's sixes, take a look at all the last year's sixes. Colin Morikawa. If there's ever a reason to play Colin Morikawa, you have it now. There's Colin Morikawa, Adam Scott, Jordan Spieth, Aaron Rai. Those are your 8K and above golfers. And then we have a few 7Ks, and it dips down in the 6K range pretty hard. And if you wanted to see how well the 6K range did from that bucket, again, you have all of the tools that you can use. So last year's sixes, I'm just going to drill down. Actually, I don't have to drill down here. I can drill down. It's all right. I can drill down here and select the bucket here. So I want to look at last year's sixes. This will show me all the last year's sixes. And I can actually drill down into another bucket. And this is where you kind of get into the combo buckets. If you remember me doing that before, we can either choose the salary bucket here, or we can just change the salary here. So 6,000 to 6,900. Do we have any? Oh yeah, we do have success. We have a lot of success. Wow. 6,200, 6,400, 68, 68, 68, 68, 63. Jackson Suber for Logan. He's ever there. Davis Love at 63, 64, 64, 67, 67, 62, 67, 61, 68. Holy crap. And again, the beautiful thing about the bucket system is you can actually see if they have course history. You can see if they've had course history. You can see if they had any recent form coming into the event. It looks like a lot of these good finishes have had course history. I imagine Brendan Steele probably had course history because he's kind of old. 2013 is when my data goes back to, so I have no idea if he's played this in 2012, 2011, 2010. He probably did, so he probably had course history as well. Jackson Suber most likely did not. No, he wouldn't have. Matthew Pavon, Bo Hogue, those guys definitely did not have course history. So hey, if you, and same with Sebastian Munoz back in 2019, that was his rookie year, I think. So hey, you guys can pick some of these either DP World Tour golfers that might have a little bit of skill, or you could pick some of these old timers that. Is Webb Simpson in the 6K range, by the way? If Webb's in the 6K range, he could be a play. He literally could be a play. Or even young guys. Let's see. So yeah, like someone like Daniel Brown, he fits that foreigner, not the foreigner, Jesus Christ. The DP World Tour caliber golfer. Adrian Dumont de Jassar, he also fits that. Crystal Lamprecht does that as well. David Ford fits the young guy, the young upcoming guy narrative. I suppose Adrian Sadier also does. I don't know too much about him. That's probably it. I'm not really seeing any other guys that I care to talk about. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to sit in the 6K range for very long. Especially with that bucket. But that's a way to look at it, guys. That is a way to look at it. If you want to get rid of all the filters, you just hit the clear all filters up here. It should clear everything out down here. It does not. I'll have to look into that. I don't know why it doesn't, but it should. Okay. Let's see. Do I want to continue on with the bucket system? Do we really? Oh yeah, I was going bucket by bucket and I got caught up. We do not look at last week buckets, by the way, guys. There are no last week stats this year. This year does not count for last year's stats. But we can look at course history. No, by the way, we also don't have recent form buckets to look at either. So one way to get rid of that is there is a little filter tool up here. You can drill down on each of the buckets we want to look at. So basically, it's just going to be these four. The X button, and now you can see they get removed, and now we only have those four buckets to look at. So last year, course history, salary, and strokes gained. So course history, having good course history, that's what course history 1 means. Having good course history, there's an 83% clip of golfers from this bucket for every year that I've recorded course history to finish inside the top 10. Same applies for course history 2. There's 100% course history 3. So it's pretty spread out. Now I look at this, this is crazy. I wouldn't have thought it was that high. 2016, 2018, 2019, 22, 25, 20. Yeah, it's not 100%, but it's pretty damn close. If I come down here, what do we see for top 10 counts? 0 happened in 2024, 0 happened in 2017, but we have at least 1 or 2 golfers from that bucket. So that's your course history 4 bucket. Again, you can do that with each of these buckets. Look at the golfers that make up this bucket. We had 0 here last year and 0 in 2022, but we don't count 2013. That just shows up there for you guys just to see. There were no golfers. I think even if I click off of this and we just look at course history 1, yeah, it'll show you 0 represent that bucket. And this is another way to look at this tool, by the way. So in 2025, we had 0 that finished inside the top 10, but we only had 2. If I drill down into this, we can see which golfers those were. Taylor Montgomery, which struggled mightily, and then Benny Ann. So not golfers that I care too much about, you know? And because I drilled into a different filter, I will have to drill back into these. You can also use the filter up here to basically look into each one. So this will keep this filter live. I don't even have to drill down into that anymore. Yeah, these are all course history too. Okay, cool. Yeah, so now I can kind of do this. And for this bucket, I can toggle between how many golfers were represented in each of these years and how many of them finished inside the top 10. So actually, if I went back to that course history 2, I want to look at course history 3. I want to look at course history 3 or I don't remember which one I was just looking at. That's why I'm kind of, I think it was this one. Yeah. So basically what I was trying to get at is if we look at the zeros, you know, I showed you 2 golf. Why are you not filtering for me the way you're supposed to? It did filter. Oh, do I have another bucket selected? I did course history 4. I think that's what I was looking for. Nope. I've lost the plot. I have no idea where I was just at. I was basically going to tell you guys what you could do is you can look through the totals, and every time that you see a 0, so in 2024 there were 0. Why? If you take that number and compare it to the other numbers around, is it considerably lower and that's why there's a 0, or was it just one of those years that just wasn't good? So I guess if I drill down on that, we can see all the golfers that are represented in this bucket. you know, we can sort by salary, and you can see that, you know, Eric Cole was the highest priced guy, followed by Adam Hadwin. So it's like, this wasn't a very good quality bucket. So that's why, you know, that's probably why for top 10s we have 0 show up from that bucket inside the top 10. Anyways, you can go ahead and continue doing the research on your own. I'm not going to continue to bore you. What I have for you guys, though, is if you do use the cheat sheet and you go to the bucket system, again, this is the spreadsheet. You can find this when you go to SweetSpotDFS.com and you go to the cheat sheet. Let me try to find it for you guys. Yeah, here it is. So if you go to this page, under the cheat sheet for SweetSpotDFS.com, this is free, so you don't even have to have an account for this. You scroll down, you click here. This opens up a new window. You can actually access the bucket system from a spreadsheet form, and we're going to have to use that this year to see the projections that I have for each of the buckets. And that takes into account everything that we just talked about. Everything we just talked about to help us narrow down the golfers that we want to put in our lineups. And if you think all of that is just nonsense, I have an optimizer that does it for us. So everything in this window that I'm highlighting on the screen, this is all being worked in. Like everything from those projections are being worked in right here. So you don't even have to look at any of that bucket stuff. You can just simply come to the optimizer or request to use the optimizer, and this will do it for you. So this is available for it. We'll build lineups here pretty shortly, or fairly shortly. But yeah. I think that's going to be it for the bucket system. I've gone pretty far just describing all that stuff and showing you guys how to use the tools. So for everyone that's in the chat, I have not yet looked to see. We have 14 viewers, it looks like. Just type in the number 1 and I'll get you another entry into the giveaway. Just type in 1. Joanne is still here. John is still here. Nice to see you guys. AJ is still here. Lombardi Lee, what's going on, man? CG is still here. Tara, I haven't seen you in forever. Ryan is still here. Good to see you guys. Tim. Cool. All right, guys. Last thing I want to cover are the Marquee Tee Times. And I have to go back to the spreadsheet to show you guys the Marquee Tee Times. Now, the whole purpose of this, and by the way, you can use the cheat sheet to find this out. Every single year that I go over the I'll get you, Phil. I'll get you. Every year I go over the Marquee Tee Times. Every year we see at least 2 to 4 golfers from the Marquee Tee Times inside the top 10, and they aren't playing on the same squad Thursday, Friday. So I have this sorted by the best groups in the field based off of my model, and I'm highlighting them right now. And what you and I are going to do is we're going to select 2 to 4 golfers from the Marquee Tee Times to build our lineups around. So we're going to start building lineups here pretty shortly. and how this is going to look for those that are, this is the first time you've seen this. If I really like Russell Henley, and by the way, this is very helpful to me for building lineups. So I do like Chris Gotterup, and I don't mind playing Chris Gotterup with Russell Henley or Ben Griffin once or twice. But most of my lineups are either going to start with Russell Henley, Ben Griffin, or Chris Gotterup. I like all three of those golfers. I'm probably going to start most of my lineups with them, but I'm not going to start my lineups with them together. So I am either selecting one or the other, and that's it. And that's what my challenge is for you guys. That's what the Marquee Tee Times are all about, is if you go ahead and you select, let's say, Russell Henley. So if I select Russell Henley, I would go and skip these two golfers in his group and find another group to pair him up with. So like Collin Morikawa seems like a wonderful choice. So I could go with Russell, with Collin Morikawa, and then I could still pair up another golfer with them. And I mean, Aaron Rai seems pretty good, and so does Billy Horschel. I have 4 golfers right there that follow the Marquee Tee Time rules. Again, 2 to 4 golfers to build your lineups around, and you do not want to pair them up with golfers in their tee times on Thursday and Friday. So this works. What wouldn't work is if we did start with Russell Henley and we went with Collin Morikawa and Adam Scott, because Collin Morikawa and Adam Scott are playing together. They're in group 3. So that wouldn't work out. One thing I would always advise not to do is play 3 golfers from the same group. So like there's Jake Knapp, Matt McCarty, and Billy Horschel. 3 7K golfers that I like quite a bit, that I don't mind putting into a lineup. If you put 3 of these guys in your lineup in the same time, you are just burning money. Like it, I would say since the 2021 PGA Championship, I think again, I can never remember when Phil won Kiowa, but I had started tracking the Marquee Tee Times just before that tournament. If I go all the way back, I will only find 1 or 2 events where 3 golfers from the same group were in a GPP winning lineup. That's it. Something just happened on my screen. Okay, we're good. So, I advise you not to do that. Do not put 3 golfers together from the same group. It's just, and that's probably the only group that really looks like it's doable. I guess this Brian Harmon, Mav McNeely, and Siwoo Kim lineup, that could work too, because the price tags are pretty light, pretty easy to do that with. So anyways, here's my activity for you guys. Select 2 to 4 golfers from the screen. We're going to start building lineups for this week and maybe next week. I'm building lineups for everybody, but moving forward, you have to at least be a red tier member. And you can see the red tier members, all the guys that have the little red badge. It's $199 to be a red tier member. You'll get a badge, and that is the only requirement I have for you guys to build lineups. Now, here's the other thing. If we can get any of my streams to 25 likes, if I can get them to 25 likes, I will give away memberships at random. YouTube only lets me do it randomly. I can't do it. I can't just pick and choose. So if I can get my videos up to 25 likes, I will definitely give away 5 free memberships. And that way you can get a membership for me to build you lineups. So there is a backdoor way, a free way, in order to, have lineups built in the future. But, yeah, that's the slight wrinkle. This week, next week, and maybe the week after that, but most likely starting at Pebble Beach or the WM Phoenix Open. It'll be it will be only for YouTube members. And a cool thing to note, if you use the website, if you are thinking about becoming a member on the website, you will always get a discount from here that will go towards the membership there. So if you become a white tier member, actually I should say it differently. If you become a white tier member here, which is $4.99, you will get $5 taken off your monthly membership at SweetSpotDFS.com. So if that's something that interests you, let me know. I can see who are members. So you have to let me know that you are a member on SweetSpotDFS.com. And that's how you will get your $5 discount that way. The same thing would apply. Well, you can't become a yearly member on YouTube. But if you were to become a yearly member at SweetSpotDFS.com, I'll say this. At least for the first month, I'll give you $5 off. I'll try to think of a different way to get you more money off if you become an annual member. But there's no, you can't do more than 1 month at a time. So anyways, let me go ahead and put Phil in here because he said he was there, and then Blue Blood. Okay. Alrighty. Let's turn on some music and let's start building some lineups. First lineup is from Tara. Tara. Pinning your lineup. Henley and Hideki. Okay. Well, here we go. We are going to put Hideki and Henley in a lineup. See what the optimizer does. I will build you 5 lineups. 5 lineups. If you don't like any of the lineups, let me know, and then we'll move on. This lineup is pretty good. This lineup's really good. We have Henley, Matsuyama, Knapp, Penrith, Brennan, Michael Brennan, and Bud Colley. Love that lineup. Phil Smart comes out with Scheffler Burns. Hey pal, I think you're a week early. I don't think they're in that field in the field this week. Oh, all right, Philip. Nice to know. Change my YouTube name to DraftKings name. All right, man. Sounds good. Good to know. Good to know. There we go, AJ. Love it, dude. Love it. Second lineup for Tara is Henley, Matsuyama, Corey Connors, Taylor Pendrith, Michael Brennan, and Kazuki Higa. That's fine. You know what I need to do? I'm going to change exposures to 50% in the 8K range. We'll go 25% in the 7K range. And then I'm going to do 5% in the 6K range. I don't want the same lineup showing up for everybody, and I also just don't want that much exposure, but 100% for everyone else. Okay. We'll save that one, and then we'll move on. We get Russell Henley, Matsuyama, Aaron Rai, Horschel, Smalley, and Haotong Lee. Okay, that's a good lineup. Do I have my soundboard still up? AJ, this is for you. If this works, this is for you. Nope, it doesn't work. Dang it. Dang it, dang it, dang it. I need to update my soundboard. It just isn't working. It was a cheers and applause. Thank you, AJ. Thank you for being a white tier member. And now you get a lovely badge next to your name. Okay. Moving on. Next lineup for Tara. We get Henley, Matsuyama, Connors, Wrighton, Michael Kim, and Rio the Assassin Hisetsune. I love it. That's a good lineup. I like that lineup. Ooh. This is quite a lineup. You get Henley, Matsuyama, Connors, Knapp, Smalley, and Kensei Hirata. Let's go. Let's not do Kensei and see what else we can get. Yeah, this is more like this is a good line. This is a really good lineup. Henley, Matsuyama, Rai, Stevens, Gerard, and Alex Smalley. Para, those were some fantastic lineups. Maybe the first one was kind of iffy, or not the first one, the second one with Kazuki Higa. But by and large, I like those lineups. Those were good lineups. Thank you, Tara. We replace that with AJ Love. He wants Henley and Hall. Airy All. We're gonna keep some of these guys. Actually, no, I'll bring back Stevens. We'll bring back the guys 7K and above. I was a white tier for years. I just pause it for a bit. Nope, no problem. All right, Tim. Tim's on the red tier. Love that. Tim actually has a different color badge. That means he's been a member in the past as well. AJ, I don't know why yours is still red. Yours should be a different color too, shouldn't it? Anyways, Tim, thank you, sir. Thank you. AJ, your first lineup is pretty good. I really like this lineup a lot. Henley, Hall, Spieth, Knapp, Gerard, and Bud Colley. One thing I forgot to mention. Okay, I'm going to probably revamp how I do the bucket system because this week I kind of just word vomited a little bit. Here's the one thing from last fall that I decided to do. I would look at the 6K range and only the 6K range, and I would look to see who finished like 20th place or better. And I went to the strokes gain button. I forgot to mention this. The strokes gain button here will give you their strokes gain stats for all the golfers for whatever filters you put in. This is their lead-in data, by the way. This is their 1 year lead-in data coming into the event. And a big thing to me, like Jackson Suber, by the way, okay, here's how we can check to see what went into Jackson Suber's strokes gain stats in 2025. We go to Jackson Suber here. We can actually type his name in because he's in the field. Oh my God, Jackson. Oh, did he not? What? What am I looking at? I'm gonna use this. Is he not in the field this week? Okay, if he's not in the field, there's another golfer filter that I have over here. Jackson Suber. Okay, that's fine. I don't need to look at that, but I can look at from the Sony Open, which was played last year around the same time. So I can go like 110 2025. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Here's what his lead-in stats were: a 2024 U.S. Open, a 2022 Sanderson Farms Championship, and a 2022 Valspar. This tells me he got sponsor exemptions because he's a young guy. He just came out of college, and like these are terrible tournaments to use against his stats to point him out. But what I have been doing is I look at the strokes gained total next to each of these golfers who had finished inside the top 10 or top 20, because most of you guys know I have selected golfers kind of willy-nilly in the 6K range. I've always said never to disrespect a 6K golfer, but also never to fall in love with one. Well, what I've learned in past tournaments is the 6K range, the golfers that do well have positive strokes gained total stats. Here for the Sony Open, that's not the case. I mean, look at the approach that these golfers had heading in. So this is really one of those events where 6K randomness just, it happens. Embrace the 6K randomness. I have no idea what stat even. I'm gonna filter this down just a little bit more, just to top 10s, because I want to see. Okay, this is all at least on one page. Perfect. So if I sort how many golfers have positive versus negative, there's more negative, it looks like, by quite a bit. No, not by quite a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 3 more. Are there any stats where we can see this is pretty break even off the tee? It's being sorted in the opposite direction. Approach, there's more negative approach golfers than positive. Yeah, okay, guys, I will say this. Strokes gained stats are not going to get it done for the 6K range. They're not going to get it done for the 6K range. Okay. And that is, here's the thing. You're either going to have to be extremely, just embrace the chaos that comes with the 6K range this week, or just skip it altogether. Like if you wanted to do 4 7K golfers, I think that's just fine. I think the lineup, like this first lineup I built for AJ Love, pretty freaking good. 3 7Ks, you just skip the 6K range altogether and just stick to some of these guys. I mean, Jordan Spieth is pretty volatile himself, but I'm okay with that lineup. Jim Lemoyne, what's going on, man? Nice to see you. We get Henley, Harry Hall, Jordan Spieth yet again, Aaron Rye, Daniel Berger, and Kevin Roy. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You know the 6K guy this week? Is it Adam Schenk? Ryan? Ryan, is it Adam Schenk? Okay. The next lineup is really good too. So AJ, here's what I'd say. Stephen Fisk, like I could go back. We can take a look at Stephen Fisk with the strokes gained stats. Clear everything out. Fisk. I only want a year's worth of data. So yeah, 1/5/2025 is fine. He's actually coming in with good data, which that's not like a deterrent. Just because he's got good data coming into the event doesn't mean we can't play him. I was going to mention the fact that he's a winner just recently, a PGA Tour winner in the 6K range. That seems like a good time to play a 6K golfer. He had a 10, 9, 2 8s, a 7, and a 6. That seems fine. $6,400 Shank. He won a tournament putting with one hand. That doesn't give me confidence though, man. That doesn't give me a lot of confidence. I personally don't like that. That is no bueno for me. The next lineup for you is a good one. Henley, Hall, Knapp, Pendrith, Brennan, and Gerard. That's a lot of Pendrith Brennan lineups. Why? It's like every time. Okay. We're gonna fix something there. Let's do Brennan without Pendrith. If you want that lineup, AJ, more than welcome to take it. But let's try this again. Our non-Pendrith Brennan lineup is Henley, Hall, Spieth, Brennan, Horschel, and Gerard. Lovely. Love that lineup. That is such a good lineup. We'll see if Pendrith gets taken this time. We get Henley, Hall, Spieth, Pendrith. Okay, that's a lot of Spieth showing up. I actually really like this lineup. I like it a lot. Berger's in it. I think Alex Smalley is going to have a good year this year. Hartman too. Here we go, man. Welcome to the red tier. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Oof. Love that. I kind of want to see what this lineup. I'm going to put in Smalley and I'm going to take out Spieth. You know what? You guys have just, see if this works. I was gonna say you guys have just inspired me to get my soundboard up and running. Can I do a Haotong spawn lineup? I sure can. Oh, come on. Sorry. I saw you guys inspired me to get my soundboard up and running. So that's what we're trying to do. Okay. AJ. This lineup without Jordo. Oh no, I went without Rye. That was stupid. Let's try this non-Jordo lineup. Oh. Are you guys getting sound? Because I'm not. I'm sorry if I'm blasting this and it's going off. I just can't hear it. Logan, what's going on, man? Nice to see you. My soundboard ain't working. That sucks. AJ, here's a non Jordo lineup, which is pretty good. It's got Aaron Rye, Berger, Grillo, and Alex Smalley. All right, so those were for AJ. You can hear the music, but it's fairly quiet. The music is, yeah, the music is on. My soundboard was not, that makes those sounds. You remember, like, if I build a great lineup, I'll play a song or whatever. That's not working for whatever reason. One of the last things that I needed to check before jumping on the screen. Okay, moving on to the next one. So Hartman, just so you know, I'm just kind of going in the order from people who put in requests for lineups first. So this one here, Henley, Spawn, Mac, Meisner, and a lineup or two with Shank. Okay. Yeah, come on. I do like Meisner. Okay. Oh yeah, all good. Perfect. All right, so your first lineup, Ryan, is Henley, Spawn, Spieth, Meisner, Horschel, and Bud Cauley. That's a sexy lineup. Holy crap. See if we get something. Oh, that's a lot of Jordo. That's a lot of Jordo. Henley, Spawn, Knapp, Meisner, Berger, and Emiliano Grillo. Love that. Let me get you a Shank lineup in this one. I imagine it's going to try to go with Jordo, so I'm going to kick him out. And by the way, guys, I don't mind Jordo. I just like to try to build lineups that kind of spread out exposure. Like, I don't want to have a ton of exposure on certain golfers. You also have the power to tell me you don't like someone and to kick them out and keep them kicked. This lineup is pretty good. You get Henley, Spawn, Kitayama, Meisner, Haotong Lee, and Adam Schenk. One more Schenk lineup. And it's the same thing. So let's kick someone out. Let's kick out Kitayama. No worries, Logan. No worries. I'll get that lineup for you. Ooh. Oh, this is a great lineup. You get Henley, Spawn, Mav McNeely, Mac Meisner, Finau, and Adam Schenk. And I'm going to kick out Adam Schenk for this next one. And you get Henley, Spawn, Penrith, Michael Brennan, love it, Mac Meisner, Ryan Gerard. That's a great lineup. Those are 5 really good lineups, Ryan. Really good lineups. Alrighty. Moving on. Lombardi Lee, Denny, Jake, Keith Mitchell. These are always interesting lineups that Lombardi brings me because he never picks any of the top guys. He just picks the middle dudes. See, Denny was 79. Knapp is 78, right? Yep, there he is. And Keith, Cashmere Keith Mitchell, 8,700. Okay. Thank you, Logan. Appreciate it. All right. Ben Griffin, Keith Mitchell, Jordan Spieth, Denny McCarthy, Jake Knapp, and Bud Cauley, Lombardi Lee. These are pretty good lineups. Logan, you know what screwed me up with audio is Byron and me doing that podcast together. I learned that I need to get him into the yellow for decibels, and that I changed halfway through the stream, and that's been stuck at the same place it's been. And I see that the music is in the yellows, and I'm like, that's a good place to be. But if you're telling me that it's being overdrowned, or it's overpowering, then obviously that's no bueno. Okay. We have not yet built this one yet, have we? Ben Griffin, Keith Mitchell, Jordo, Denny McCarthy, Knapp, and Bud Cauley. I like that. I like Bud Cauley. Wait. We already did that one. Okay, my bad. Not paying attention, apparently. So why did... Oh, I didn't hit the run optimizer button. That's why. Gotcha. Griffin, Mitchell, McCarthy, Knapp, Penrith, of course, Penrith, geez. Now, either these guys together are going to be great, Brennan and Penrith, or they're just going to tank someone's lineup. I don't need to have them in everybody's lineup that I create. And that's Penrith and Brennan, by the way. Okay, this one's fantastic. I had mentioned going over past optimal GPP winning lineups, maybe during the bucket system, that doing a balanced build this week is probably the way to go. This is a sexy balanced build. Spawn, Mitchell, Spieth, McCarthy, Knapp, and Michael Brennan. I'm a huge Michael Brennan fan. Why is that? Oh, I have something hidden in there. Got it. It's like, how is there still a duplicate? That makes no sense. Okay. All right. Next lineup is Ben Griffin. Keith Mitchell. Is that another Griffin Jordo lineup? Yeah. It's a good lineup. Griffin, Mitchell, Jordan Spieth, McCarthy, Knapp, and Smalley. Here's what we're going to do with Jordo. I think we're changing these all to 33% because that's being overpowered. And I'm going to change these up here to 50%. I'm kind of sick and tired of seeing the same golfers over and over again. Okay. So the next one should be fine. You think a low guy is Simpson? Why not? Yeah, why not? Next lineup for you, Lombardi Lee is Griffin, Mitchell, Aaron Rye, McCarthy, Knapp, and Haotong. I like that lineup. And your last one is same lineup with Lee Hodges. Do we like that enough? I think we do. Actually, oh, I really don't have any Griffin love. I'm trying to figure out why Griffin is being selected so much. That's fine. That's fine. We're okay with that. We're okay with that. All right, moving on. Moving on. Hey, we're past that. Phil Smart, Scheffler Burns. I saw that. I mean, I'm saying that again. That's fun. Bill Paul. All right, Tim Tulos. Henley, McIntyre, and Hall. Henley. Bobby Mack. And Harry Hall. This seems like a very interesting lineup to build. Can I do a version where I add Berger to Haotong and Spawn also? That's all from me. Yeah, that's fine. Can I do a version where I add Berger to Haotong? Haotong Spawn. Oh, yeah. Okay, gotcha. Okay, our first dual 6K lineup. And I think that has to happen to some extent in order to make these lineups, you know, good. To have a 10K and two 9Ks. So I'm fine with this, Tim. Honestly, I'm fine with this. In fact, I could use the bucket system. I can sort by year and just see how frequently we see 6K golfers inside the top 10. In 2025, we had 4. In 2024, we had 3. In 2023, we had 4. In 2022, we had 3. We didn't have any in 2021. Is that because we didn't have a Sony Open in 2021? I don't remember. In 2020, we had 6. And in 2019, we had 3 and 1 in 2018. So only 2 years we haven't had dual 6K, like having more than one 6K inside the top 10. So we're fine. We pass the sniff test, as some streamers like to call it. Next lineup: Henley, McIntyre, Hall, Penrith, Bud Cauley, and Coda Kaneko. If you want to play that guy, go for it. I'm just gonna build a new one. Next lineup we get is Russell Henley, McIntyre, Harry Hall, Penrith, Bud Cauley, and Davis Riley. I like that. I actually do like Davis Riley at this golf course. I do not have an issue playing Davis Riley. I don't know who this guy is, so we're just going to skip it. Ren Yonezawa. Don't know. Okay, we get a little Bud, Bud Colley and Mark Hubbard. I was going to say Bud Hubbard. But we get Henley, McIntyre, Harry Hall, Haotong Lee, Bud Colley, and Mark Hubbard. That's a good lineup. I like that one. Okay. I could take a flyer on a lineup like this. Henley, McIntyre, Harry Hall, Berger, Haotong Lee, and Isaiah Salinda. Let's get out Haotong from the list. Try again. Henley, McIntyre, Harry Hall, Michael Brennan, Ryan Gerard, and Danny the Daywalker. Hey, I didn't even know he was down there, but I am okay with a lineup like this. Yeah, sign me up, man. Danny the Daywalker. Okay. There's 5 lineups for you, Tim. Appreciate you being here. Thank you for becoming a member. Okay. Next one I get is from John Bizzle. We have Maverick, Denny McCarthy, and Harry Hall. Maverick, Denny McCarthy, Harry Hall. Group 4, Group 8, and Group 9. Base JKH. Shank, Hodges, and Echeverria. No Spieth, no Henley, no Griffin, no Mark. Oh, hey, man. That guy knows what he wants. You got it. Okay, so the 3 that we have on the screen. Let's see what we get for John Bizzle. First lineup is JJ Spawn, McNeely, Harry Hall, Denny McCarthy, Tony Finau, and Bud Colley. I love that. What a lineup. That's a great lineup right out the gate. Next lineup after that is McNeely, Harry Hall, Kitayama, Denny McCarthy, Christopher Wrighton, and Alex Smalley. I like this lineup a lot. Like a lot. No offense to the lineups before, but I really like that one. That is one that I want to play. We doing roll call this year? Yes, sir. I mean, I've been doing roll call. You kind of just missed it. This is a perfect 1. Oh, 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. Yeah. Next lineup is McNeely, Harry Hall, Aaron Rye, Rico Hoey, McCarthy, and Lee Hodges. Okay, for those that are in the chat, we can do roll call number 3 right now. This is for a giveaway. $5 for the weekly giveaway. And a monthly membership to SweetSpot DFS for the monthly giveaway. So you just automatically get entered into that monthly giveaway. But if you want a chance to win $5, give me your favorite golfer this week in the chat. Give me your favorite golfer. That is roll call number 3. There you go. Joanne likes Harry Hall. Joanne, I don't have an issue with Harry Hall. AJ with Henley. Yep. Wheels up with Colin Morikawa. Okay. Sir, you spell his name with 2 L's, not 1. I think someone gave him that nickname. Double L. Let's finish these lineups up. Did we already save this one with Lee Hodges? I don't think we did. We did not. This is a good lineup. It has Rico Hoey. First time seeing Rico Hoey tonight. McNeely, it's a very balanced build too, by the way. McNeely, Harry Hall, Rye, Hoey, McCarthy, and Hodges. All right. I'll get you guys added here shortly. Matt McNeely, Harry Hall, Kitayama, McCarthy, Brennan, and Bud Colley. Another great lineup. Lots of balanced builds, and I'm here for it, man. This was a great combo of golfers to put together, John. The last one is also a banger. I love it. It's McNeely, Harry Hall, Spieth, Hoey, McCarthy, and Alex Smalley. Those were pretty good, John. Those were pretty good. Pretty good. Wheels up. So we get John, Based, JKH, Philip Hall. I'm just going to keep you in here as Blue Blood. Actually, I'd rather just go with Philip Hall. Jim Lemoyne, Lombardi Lee. You spell Logan with one. Thanks. Okay. Well, thankfully, I don't spell Logan ever because your name on here is Wheels Up. With 2 U's, I just realized. Wheels You Up. Is that how I'm supposed to pronounce it? Is Wheels You Up? Was I pronouncing it wrong this whole time? Okay. Moving on. John. Going from John to Hartman. Hartman 2. And do Hao Tong and Spawn. And then we want to add somebody. I'll have to find your other message. You said somebody. Somebody. Can I do a version where I add Burger to Hao Tong? Okay. Yep. And who knows? Maybe we'll actually get there naturally. Maybe the optimizer is like, nah, Burger's the best golfer to put with these guys. First lineup is Spawn, Keegan Bradley, Harry Hall, Ryan Gerard, Taylor Pendrith, and Hao Tong Lee. That's, wow. That is pretty impressive. I'm going to kick out Pendrith just because I feel like the next lineup is going to have Michael Brennan in it. It does not. We get Ben Griffin, JJ Spawn, Corey Connors, Gerard, Smalley, and Hao Tong. I'll go one more lineup and just see if it picks Burger or not. Doesn't, but it does pick Michael Brennan, and I like this lineup a lot, so I'm gonna save this one. Griffin, Spawn, Connors, Brennan, Hao Tong, and Bud Colley. We will put Burger with this now. I gotta remember what his price tag was. There he is, 7,500. Okay. We get Spawn, Hall, Jordo, Aaron Rye, Burger, and Hao Tong. I don't hate it. I'm going to kick out Spieth. He's the only guy that I feel like you can't really trust in that lineup. Otherwise, I like the rest of them. Ooh, that's the first Chris Gotterup lineup. Spawn, Hall, Gotterup, Rye, Burger, and Hao Tong. Cash that. Go cash that one tomorrow. That looks like a really good lineup. I'm going to kick out Rye and just see what your last lineup would be because I added one of my own. So we'll see what this one is. Ben Griffin, Spawn, Connors, Berger, Lee, and Lee Hodges. Could have been better. Could have been better. So that's your bonus one for me, saving one for you. Okay. Let's go on. That was 5. Those were 5 lineups for you. 6 lineups actually. Autong, Christopher Wrighton, and Colin. Christopher Wrighton. Also, by the way, I know some of you guys sign up for the red tier, and I appreciate it. I do Wednesday live streams for white tier members and above. Now, if you did just sign up for red tier and you want to become white tier, YouTube will do the difference. You won't have to pay $5 on top of the $2 you paid. You only have to pay $3 on top of the $2 you paid. So I do live streams for members on Wednesday night. Again, white tier members and above. I know I should disclose that, but this is the first week back in streaming, so can't remember everything. But yes, I do that Wednesday nights, and it's just me really going a little bit further into looking at the data and basically building my lineups, showing you what I'm doing on my lineups, just so I'm not blowing smoke, so you don't think I'm blowing smoke whenever I'm talking about the things that I talk about. And yeah, it's just another perspective that you can get on building your own lineups, and maybe there's some information, like maybe Bryson gets reinstated tomorrow and decides he's in the Sony Open. Probably not going to happen, and it's too late, but who knows? That could happen. Actually, I'm pretty sure it can't happen. I'm just saying it could, just to make it more dramatic. Where was I again? Wheels up. Wrighton and Hautong. Christopher Wrighton. Alrighty. Build 5 for Logan. What is your regular schedule / different shows? So Tuesdays, I was just thinking about this the other day. I follow, so before daylight savings time, or before we spring ahead, this will be at 8 p.m. When we spring ahead, it'll change to 9 p.m. and that's Tuesday nights. So every Tuesday, I go live at 8 o'clock until we spring ahead for daylight savings or whatever. And then that will be at 9 p.m. And then I just stream for as long as you guys keep me company, essentially. So there's not I don't have a hard cutoff. Like, I like long form information. Sometimes I get tired. Sometimes, you know, like I need to log off, and I'll tell you guys like, hey, I got 5 more minutes in me, and then that's just when we'll call her quits. Wednesdays are at 9. Usually I only go for like about an hour and a half, 2 maybe at most. But yeah, that's also kind of like, it's based off of who's there and who wants information. I'm here just to answer anything you guys want me to answer. I don't have a superset schedule. I will say once we get to like 11 p.m. Central Standard Time, which will happen here in 25 minutes, that's when I'll probably be like, all right, guys, probably got to wrap this up pretty soon, you know. But if we're having a good stream, we're having a good stream. Like, I'm going to continue to, I'm going to continue to stream as long as you guys have me. Colin, if you may, even. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. I got you loaded up, Logan. Got you loaded up. Your first lineup is Griffin, Morikawa, Knapp, Wrighton, Smalley, and Hautong Lee. I love that lineup. Maybe, yeah, I like it a lot. Whoa, I like this lineup too. I like this one maybe more than the last one. Morikawa, Harry Hall, Goddard, Wrighton, Brennan, and Hautong. Pretty good. Okay, cool. I'm newer to golf, so just trying to soak in the info throughout the season. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. So a lot of times, like my stream, I will just do an info dump in the beginning. And then when it comes to building lineups, this is where I might get sidetracked because you guys are asking me questions. It's more just for you. At this point in time, it's for you guys. So whatever you guys want me to answer, look into, you know, I have all the tools on SweetSpotDFS.com. Like I can go and look into anything that you want me to look into. And yeah, building lineups gives us some ideas as to what to do. Did we just save this one? I think we just did, right? All right, we need to kick someone out. I think we kick out. I'm kind of okay. Let's kick out Ben Griffin. And we get Paul Morikawa, Keegan Bradley, Corey Connors, Wrighton, Horschel, and Hautong. That's a Logan. This is another sexy lineup. Holy shit. That's might be my favorite lineup so far, I think. Morikawa, Bradley, Hall, Wrighton, Hautong, and Bud Colley. Did we not just save that one? Nope, I guess not. It's close though. All right. If Keegan is the guy that anchors this lineup again, I'm going to switch it and go to someone else. Yeah, I'm going to switch it. And we also already just saved this one. So Keegan, you're getting the boot, pal. Get out of here. Go on, get. Do you think Griffin will be the second best golfer again this year? Do we think he was the second best golfer last year? I know what I used to say was he's the hottest golfer not named Scotty Scheffler. Yeah, it's close to my shell. I don't know what that means. I don't even remember what I just said. Morikawa, McIntyre, Connors, Wrighton, Hautong, and Lee Hodges. Why Lee Hodges? This was a good lineup outside of Lee Hodges. If you like Lee Hodges, this is a wonderful lineup. I don't care for it, so I'm gonna hit Run Optimizer. Oh, and first Nick Taylor's showing. All right. We get Colin Morikawa, Taylor, Corey Connors, Knapp, Wrighton, and Hautong. Perfect. That was a good one. That was a good one. Cool. All right, Logan. Those were lineups for you. What else do we have here? I saw Joanne had one in here somewhere. So after Logan. Oh, Logan, I'm just reading this message right here. Appreciate it. Yeah, producing and hosting it's fun, but it does take work. Oh, we get based JKH first. Did I already do a Joanne lineup? Joanne, if you're still here, did I do a lineup for you already, or did you put one in a little bit late? Oh, you put one in later. Okay. It was right after my third roll call. So base he asked for this lineup just before I asked for roll call, and then you gave me your lineup just after roll call. Cool. It looks like you're the last one for a lineup, Joanne, so I will do that right after I do this for based. You want Shank, Hodges, and Echeverria. No Spieth, no Colin, and no Griffin. Okay. Let's get those guys out of here. No Griffin, no Colin. No Henley. Holy shit. No Henley. No Griffin. No Morikawa. No Spieth. but we want Shank, Hodges, and Echeverria. Oh, you want the Hodges? Hodges has been showing up, and I'm just like, I don't know about that. I like it, though. I like it. All right, man. We'll see how this works out. You have kicked out all of the high-priced golfers, and my optimizer is looking at 49.6 and above, so we shall see. We shall see. My early DFS shell builds are heavily featuring Colin, Connor, and Hao Tong. Okay. Your model agreed, so that makes me feel good. All right. Okay, so do I still have based JKH in the channel? Are you still here? I'm gonna try to ping you. I personally don't like to leave a lot of money on the table. And I think what I'm gonna have to do well, let's see here. Let's see if I can do this again. In theory, it should be able to pick lineups without having issues, but I don't understand why we can't build a lineup. I don't think I'm hitting any... Is it course history? I wonder, is it just a bunch of guys with course history 3? There's one 9K with course history 3, another one right there, another one right there, a 2 right here. It's not that much. Why is it not? If I force it to choose 2 9s and 2 8s, that might not be enough. Is that what it's already doing? 2 9s and 8. So we have Echeverria locked in there. Hodges is locked in there. Adam Shank is locked in there. And so really, how much does that equal? 21.4. So we need to spend 28, up to 28.6. You divide that by 3. That's over $9,000 a player. That's why we can't do it. That's why it's not doing it for me. So let me just check something here. I'm gonna do this. I think that gets me over 253. Okay. What is this? This is too much. It's 29. Okay. That's too much. If I do that, this should work. Let me double check. Yeah, it's definitely a puzzle. Okay, so this lineup with those 2 guys and these 3, so then I should be able to do this, right? This should get me how much money? This leaves money on the table, doesn't it? Or oh, this is just over. This goes just over. Goes over by 200. Okay. So I wouldn't be able to do Keegan because I'd have to choose Matsuyama. I could choose Mav McNeely. So why can't I do this lineup? Something. This is 49.9. We go over with the last year 1 bucket. So that's why. For this one, this scenario. This is just fine right there. This is just fine right here. This is also just fine right here. So 1 bucket. It breaks 1 bucket. And it's the last year 1 bucket. Okay. That'll be the same. No. Oh, it's because Echeverria is a last year one. Hodges is a last year one. Is also Shank a last year? Yeah, Shank's a last year one too. Okay. It is all making sense to me now. Watch what happens when I remove Shank from this lineup. You will get a good lineup that does not break. 49.6. Okay. Those three golfers, unfortunately, do not allow me to create a lineup that uses most of the salary based off of the bucket conditions. Now, we can do one of a few things. We can either say screw the bucket conditions, which defeats the purpose of what I do, which is fine. We can do that because we'd be building lineups based off of my model. And if that's what you want, we can certainly do that. Or we can remove one of your three guys because they're all last year ones. And because they're so cheap, that's what's going to break my optimizer. It's up to you. It's up to you. Oh, it's not me nerding out, pal. It's just me trying to figure out why it's breaking. Boot Hodges. Good choice. All right. We're free. We can build whatever we want to now. Okay. Let's see what lineups we get. Bobby Mack, Spawn, Connors, Echeverria, Brennan, and Shank. That's a solid lineup. Bobby Mack, Keegan Bradley, Corey Connors, Echeverria, Jake Knapp, Adam Shank. Another solid lineup. That is a great lineup. Okay. Bobby Mack, JJ Spawn, Corey Connors, Echeverria, Wrighton, and Shank. Different. Love it. I like it. I think we just did that one. I'm curious. I'm going to put Hodges in here, and I'm going to boot out Shank. Let me get you two with Hodges. We get Spawn, Hall, Aaron Rye, Echeverria, Penrith, and Ryan Gerard. That's a good lineup, too. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What did I do? Oh, I did the infamous no. All right. Hold on. Just give me a second. Let's redo that one. Number one in my model is, drumroll, Russell. Nope, it's not Russell Henley. It's Ben Griffin by 5 points. 5 points. Watch this. Oh yeah, rank. We should do it the other way. So this is ranked top to bottom. It all matches prices, right? Pretty much 10-3, 10-1, 9-8, 9-3, 9-1, 9-5, 9-2, 9-6, 9-7, 7-6. Michael Brennan. And then there's also Jake Knapp up there. And, ooh, Marty Schmid. Oh, yes. I'm a huge fan of Marty Schmid. And he tends to play this course. Not great. I'm just looking. I thought he did last. I was watching him in one of those feature groups, and I swear to God, he played like a really good round one. That's how memories work. You feel like you remember, but I don't. All right. Based, here's a Lee Hodges lineup, which I like a lot. Spawn, Connors, Goddard, Aaron Rai, Echeverria, and Hodges. Let's see what we can get here. We get Spawn, Kitayama, Connors, Echeverria, Brennan, and Lee Hodges. I currently have 0% Chris Kirk, 0% Siwoo, 0% Adam Scott, and 0% Brian Harmon, and 0% Johnny Kiefer. Let's see what happens if I put Johnny Kiefer in your lineup. God, he's getting hurt so bad because he has like no stats to add to the model. I'm cool with this lineup. This is a great lineup. Matsuyama, McIntyre, Echeverria, Kiefer, Brennan, and Hodges. That is pretty solid. Pretty solid. Can we force that? We just did. What a match made in heaven right there. You saying, can we force Decky? Decky shows up almost as soon as you say it. But what I can also do is kick out Kiefer, put in Hideki, and just see what a Hideki force lineup looks like. And we get Matsuyama, Connors, Goddard, Rai, Echeverria, and Hodges, which is similar to what we just had right here. Is this the same, just with Decky in it instead of Spawn? We get Connors, Goddard, Rai, Echeverria. Connors, Goddard, Rai, Echeverria. Yeah, it's the same lineup that had Spawn, but now has Hideki in it. Okay. I mean, that's a decent core. That's decent. For the new guy in the back, rest in peace, D-Gen. Yes, the new guy in the back. All right. Hartman 2 says, why is Sepp Straka so polarizing, at least in best ball rankings? Hartman, I'm sorry I didn't see that earlier. Why is he so polarizing, as in, like, nobody wants to play him? Or what do you mean? What do you mean by that? Sepp Straka so polarizing. I don't really play him that much. When he's there for me to select, I don't want to select him. Because I feel like it's too soon. I guess I just don't respect Straka that much. All right, Joanne, I don't know if you're in the chat, but if you are, I have finally gotten to your lineup. She wants Harry Hall and Eric Cole. Now, this would be way too late for Joanne. Joanne is an hour ahead of me, which means it'd be at midnight right now. Harry Hall and Eric Cole. All right, Joanne, I will do my best to build you lineups to watch the next day. First lineup is Ben Griffin, Harry Hall, Jordo, Cole, Pendrith, and Bud Cauley. I have a feeling you're not a huge fan of Jordo, so I'm going to kick him out. From everything I remember, he's too risky, is my feelings on that. Griffin, Harry Hall, Aaron Rai, Eric Cole, Pendrith, and Bud Cauley. That's 2 Pendriths and 2 Cawleys and 2 Harry Halls. Or no, she wants Harry Hall. 2 Ben Griffins. So that's 3 golfers in both of those lineups. Joanne is still here? Oh my God, Joanne. It's way too late. Okay. Well, I mean, I appreciate you being here. You tell me who you like and who you don't like. I'm talking about the scramble specifically for ranks, so maybe schedule related. Like in best ball, some sites have him ranked 30 plus and his ADP is 11. Oh, I see. Joanne, do you like Pendrith? Do you like Spieth? And do you like Ben Griffin? Those three have just I can tell are gonna show up a lot. And maybe Bud Colley. Yeah. ADP, yeah, he's 11. If I click on his name, this is Sepp Straka. It looks like he's playing a pretty robust round 1. But he's not in the field this week, right? These are Byron's projected schedule, his projected schedule. Yeah, no, Sepp Straka is not here. So that needs to get removed from the list. You do not like Griffin. Okay. No Griffin. All right, I'll build one now without Griffin in it. I'll be completely transparent with you guys. I built that underdog tool just because I felt like, well, one, if you're paying to be on my website, I want to provide the tools, like as many tools as I can for you guys. And it was one of those challenges that I wanted to do. I wanted to create something for it because I also was interested in playing it, but I wasn't going to play it unless I was doing my own research on it. The transparency that I'm getting to is I did zero homework as to projecting out a schedule. And it was funny. I was talking to Byron during our co-stream where he was telling me, he's like, well, this is if today they were scheduled to play, which I don't understand, because he was basically giving me shit about he's not worried about speculative plays. Like that was what I was talking about Chris Kirk, I guess, when I was like, Chris Kirk, he's going to play in the PGA Championship. And he goes, well, as of today, he's not. And so I don't know why Sepp Straka would have been projected to play this Sony. I don't know if it's because like I don't know what goes on in Byron's head when it comes to those schedules, but since he put a ton of time into it, I just went with it, which is, that's fine. You know, your tool's interesting as well for future contests. I'm using Byron's model to draft with. There you go. I'm seeing that he's unreliable for counting on starts, but I just don't have the knowledge base. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Joanne. Joanne, here's a lineup for you. It does have Pendrith in it and Bud Colley. So that's the third time I built a lineup for you. Griffin, Hall, and okay. Well, oh, you do like Griffin. Oh, I misread that. I did ask you, didn't I? I said, do you like these guys? I see. All right, here you go. Yeah, Hartman, I think what I'm going to have to do for the major best ball drafts, because like there has to be a level of forecasting in schedules. My whole goal, or what I wanted to do, I'll talk at you after I build lineups for Joanne. Joanne, you get Ben Griffin, Harry Hall, Aaron Rye, Cole Pendrith, and Bud Colley. Okay, let's see if Pendrith and Bud Colley get chosen again. If they do, I'm going to kick them out. Pendrith does. Do you like Pendrith? I'm going to kick Pendrith off. I don't like Pendrith. You like Pendrith? That's fine. If you like Pendrith, I'll keep him in. Interesting lineup. Griffin, Harry Hall, Aaron Rye, Knapp, Eric Cole, and Lee Hodges. I just have never been a huge fan of Lee Hodges. I don't know why, just never have. Never have. Griffin, Harry Hall, Aaron Rai, Eric Cole, Michael Brennan, and Sam Stevens. What a lineup. I like this lineup, Joanne. I don't know if you... No, you don't like Pendrith? Okay. This lineup is fantastic. Do you like this lineup? Ben Griffin, Harry Hall, Aaron Rai, Eric Cole, Michael Brennan, and Sam Stevens. I think Michael Brennan's a stud. And this is another fantastic lineup. You get Ben Griffin, Harry Hall, Aaron Rai, Eric Cole, Matt McCarty. I also like Matt McCarty. Sam Stevens. Griffin, Hall, Cole. Griffin, Hall, Cole. Okay. Beautiful. I'll build you a bonus one in case there's one that you didn't like that I wasn't able to talk to you about. This is the same as the last one. Let's kick out. I do like Aaron Rai this week. Do I want to kick him out just to see? Yeah, let's kick him out just to see. This will give us a more interesting lineup, most likely. Griffin, Harry Hall, Kitayama, Knapp, Cole, and Kensai Harada. I don't even know who the hell that guy is. He's got better points than Eric Cole. We get the assassin, so you get Griffin, JJ Spawn, Harry Hall, Eric Cole, Tony Finau, and Ryo Hisatsune. You get the assassin. I love it. Cool. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for lineups. I can stay on talking about other things, but your boy's getting tired. We are getting a bit tired. So Hartman, what was I saying? Oh, I know what I was gonna say. So kind of wish that I would have had this tool out there for people to use and for myself to use, because basically what I would have done is I would have looked at this historical starts for all time, and like I probably would have looked at each golfer individually, so like Sepp Straka, and just kind of looked. Oh, you know what? I guess I understand why Byron was going to have Sepp play at the Sony. Because I don't know what goes into Byron's thought process when it comes to these things. This makes sense. Because this is exactly what I would have done. And I bet you his average finishes are probably pretty good. Not really. But I bet you as of... Nah, man, his starts aren't super great. He warms up near the Cognizant. The Cognizant is where he starts playing better. Yeah. Good finish at AT&T. I guess he's up and down. He's a little bit of a roller coaster. But yeah, I see why Byron had him in the Sony. He's played 5 times. so he played. Oh. Never mind. See, this is the other thing with context too. If you're just looking at numbers, 5 events. He went 2019, 2020, 21, 22, and then just boom into 2025. Probably for no particular reason. If I were to actually open this up to 1/1/2025, he probably played the Century, right? He probably played the Century the week before. Yeah, he played the Century the week before. So he, honestly, I bet you if he didn't play the Century the week before, he wouldn't have played Sony. I imagine just because he's in Hawaii, why not play both of the events? If we just look at Century and Sony, now even open it up to the year before, because I think he had one. Okay, yeah. So in 2024, he was at the Century, but then he didn't play the Sony. And he was there in 2023 and also didn't play the Sony. So I guess my thought process here is wrong. Who knows? He must not like the Sony if he was at the Century for 3 weeks or 3 years in a row, and only one of them he played the Sony. To me, it almost looks like because he became a better golfer, he decided not to play the Sony because he didn't have to. Whereas when he was younger, he had to play the Sony. 2022, 21, 20, 2019. I bet you. Okay, let me put in Century. He started playing the Century in 23. So he didn't have to play the Sony. And who knows why in the hell he played the Sony last year. I'm obviously stuck on Sepp Straka being at the Sony, primarily because in my tool it shows that he's projected to play the Sony, and yet, yeah. Okay. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. All right. Anybody have any questions? Anything else? Oh, Joanne, good luck to you too. See you in the winner's lane. A lot of people were saying Sony changed this year because they took out the event beforehand. True. I was looking at Sepp for this week, but I'm really underexposed to him in best ball. I guess I was wondering if you seem like that's a mistake. I think Sepp at pick 11 is tough. I would much rather have Sungjae over Sepp Straka. I'd have Fleetwood over Sepp Straka, and I think Fleetwood is going to play a smaller schedule, maybe by a couple of events, than Straka. I would definitely pick Jordan over Straka. I think Jordan's going to have a pretty decent year. I'd even pick Corey Connors over Sepp Straka for whatever reason. I don't know why. I personally am not putting as much stock into Sepp Straka as other people are. I do think he's good. And when people say he's one of the best drivers of the golf ball, and you look at his golf swing and everything kind of lines up to being that he's one of the best drivers of the golf ball, I mean, he's pretty good with his putter too. And those two skills alone, driving and putting, they are what you need to be an elite golfer. So it's like, I guess not so much putting, but yeah, putting is big. You know, best ball is one of the most interesting things to me. Like, when I drafted Scotty Scheffler, at the end of that draft, I'm trying to remember all the golfers that weren't selected. Do I still have? I don't have it up. There were some real big names, and I'm just like, I have no idea why those guys went undrafted, but that's just how it goes. Do you expect the new commissioner to introduce any DFS gambling or strategic changes to golf that could benefit your model? I don't think so. I don't know. Do you expect the new? No. Yeah, no. Wheels, no, I don't think so. I feel like Substraka always hits when we don't discuss him. That's true. Straka got an exemption because his son was born prematurely, so he can keep some eligibilities without hitting minimum events. Oh. Okay. I did not know that. Does that explain what it would be? I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to sit and think on that a little bit more. I'm not positive. What's up, JK? Who do you think is going to be a top 10 player this year that isn't expected? Yeah, I think Sungjae probably comes back around. I don't think he could have had a worse year than last year, honestly. Actually, hold on. I got a better tool. This tool, I like this tool so much more. Sungjae M. So, in 2025, I mean, he still hit a 10% top 5 clip, but that also is the same as his top 10 clip. Missed cut rate was 28%. So he still made the majority of his cuts, 72%. Pretty damn close, I guess. His top 5 came at the Masters of all tournaments. Oh, he had a 4th at Farmers and a 3rd at the Century. Okay, so he started out pretty hot. So let's hold on. So here are his normal rates. 10% top 5 clip, 25% top 10 clip. Miscut is at 21%. His average finish is 36.6. In 2025, average finish was 46.64. So 10 places worse than normal, and his top 10 rate is 16% lower than usual. Sorry, 13%. So 2025 was not a good year. 2024 was a better year. Average finish 35. Maybe not by much. Oh yeah, no. It was. 2024 was a better year. 2023 was his good year, right? Nah, that's pretty much the same. 2022 had a better average finish. 32, 40, 36, 49. Okay, so this was a bad year, but this is probably his first year on tour. 37% missed cut rate, 20% miscut, 20% miscut, 15% miscut. This is also a win at the Shriners. Where did he get his win at the Honda? Was that 2020? Or what year was? Yeah, it was, wasn't it? There it is. 2020. So he had, 13, 9, 11, 3? Yikes. What happened here, Sungjae? Just couldn't get inside the top 5? Finish position was decent. 2025 was an anomaly. Like, if there was ever a regression back to being positive, it's going to be this year for Sungjae. Who knows what the hell happened last year? He missed the cut at some bad events to miss cuts at. 3M Open, John Deere Classic, Canadian Open. Those are... You would think he'd be good at those events. Normally when he's good at the Honda, the Cognizant, he missed the cut last year. Shot 4 under though. That's not bad. What was the cut? 5 under? Yeah, it was 5 under. I gotta get this tool on there too. This is such a good tool. Started making it, but I got sucked into the one and done thing, and then I was like, ah, shoot, I need to get my cheat sheet updated too. We'll get those updated and out there. None much. Hello, everyone. I expect Connors to have a magical year too. I agree with Connors too. If Hoey can play like he did in the fall, he would be with top 10 player. Son James seems like a cold-blooded player who never gets rattled. That's why I fell in love with him. He plays a ton and is completely unfazed by anything. Sungjae lives in Atlanta with those James Harden strippers. Duh. I think he's married, right? Isn't he married now? I know Sungjae, it was very surprising. Sungjae got married and had, or not Sungjae, Siwoo. Siwoo got married and had a kid. That seemed surprising to everyone. All right, guys. I will, I'm here. We'll do the, oh, I don't even have the timer doesn't even work. Okay. Here, I gotta do it the old way. The old school way. Why did it go there? Oh, I'm still on the bucket system. There we go. And that's gonna pop up. 3 minutes. You guys got 3 minutes to get your questions in. I am logging off. Anyone that I like for Rookie of the Year? Anyone I like for Rookie of the Year? Probably Johnny Kiefer, honestly. I don't know, does Michael Brennan count for a rookie? Rookies. Oh, that Kensai Arata is actually a rookie. Hey? Zach Bosho. He's played some events before. Like, I think he did Zurich a couple times. No, never mind. I don't remember where it was. It was a Southern Golf, like a Southern tournament. He's in my database a few times under Zachary. Chandler, do not know who the heck he is. Daniel Brown. I'll put him on the list. Daniel Brown, we'll put him on a list. Chatfield, I know nothing about Chatfield. Ewart, do not know anything about this Canadian. Emilio! I don't know anything about Emilio. Don't know anything about Harada. Don't know anything about Kang. I only know Kiefer through everybody talking about Kiefer and oh, what's his name? Keith Stewart. Keith Stewart talks about Kiefer. He's good. Lambrecht is 6'7" and hits the ball really, really far. I guess he could do something. Probably not though. ST Lee, he's been in my database before. Oh my God, Nakajima, this is considered his rookie year. Okay. Kita, maybe. And this is Niergaard Peterson's rookie year as well. Maybe. I don't know much about Nyholm. Don't know much Perry or Pari, however you say it. Marco Penge, I guess that's a guy. That is definitely a guy. He's probably the top of the list. All right, yeah. Penge and Kiefer. 1, 2. Just in my power rankings of rookies. Wrighton would be up there. So I'm going to give you a group of golfers that would be next on the list in no particular order. Wrighton, Jordan L. Smith. He's just, he kind of reminds me of Steven Yeager. Like, Steven Yeager blew things up on the DP World Tour, or on the Korn Ferry Tour before finally coming to the PGA and not doing anything, going back to the Korn Ferry and then coming back to the PGA. It's almost like Jordan Smith, not quite, but Jordan has had his opportunities. He's like a wily veteran. So yeah, him, Wrighton, Nakajima, Niergaard Peterson, that's 4. And Daniel Brown. I'd say those guys. So Daniel Brown, Henge, Wrighton, Jordan Smith. Those 4 behind Henge and Kiefer. Yeah, I'm cool with that. 6 golfers right there. Oh. AJ Love says Thorb could be a top 10. That's the last time that I will call Michael Thorbjornsen Thorb. Think you do what you want, and I am not judging you for writing it out, because writing out letters shorter is easier. But when I hear the word, when I hear someone say Thorb, like say Hambo saying Thorb, it just sounds so stupid. Sounds stupid. The young Thorbjornsen has a great sophomore year. I think Michael Thorbjornsen is going to continue. Well, hold on. There is a sophomore slump. We've seen that with Victor. We've seen it with Colin Morikawa. Not so much with Scotty, but Scotty didn't really do anything his second year, I don't think. 2018 doesn't really count, right? He was at FedEx St. Jude, the Genesis. Yeah, I don't think that counts. Maybe it does. So his second year was technically the COVID year. So 2019 didn't really have a super great 2019. I don't even know if you can call this like this is bad right here, right? This is Scotty's 2020. But this was the COVID year, so do you give him slack? This is when they came back. Charles Schwab Challenge, 55th, and miscut. And then he didn't miss the cut for the rest of that year. Finished 5th at the Tour Championship. And then Scotty just poured it on. 2021. Oh, 2021 wasn't that good for him. I thought he got his first win around that. It's 2022 is when he got his first win. Yep. Okay, so I mean, even Scotty, to some extent, had a sophomore slump. I do think the talent is there with Thorbjornsen, though. That site looks good. Thank you, sir. Don't be mad on old Thorby. Why didn't we call Thorbjorn Olesen Thorb? You'd think that's just as hard to say. Thorbjornsen. Looks bad. Definitely give him some slack. Oh, my buddy will call me and just talk about Scotty all the time, which is fine because I love Scotty. I made a declarative with Byron in our podcast Sunday that Scotty Scheffler, as long as Meredith doesn't pull him away from golf, will be the best golfer of all time before he hangs it up. All right, guys, I gotta go. I'm tired. I got to go in the office tomorrow, which is unfortunate. I will be live for white tier members. I will be live for members only. Oh, yeah. So I'll catch you there, or I'll catch you next week. One of the two. Reach me at email if you need me. SweetSpotDFS@gmail.com. And I'll get back to you that way. All right, guys. See you later.